Welcome, everybody, to Crunch Time with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, and Gentry. It is Wednesday, April 17th. And, boys, it's Wednesday. You know what that means? We got John Maakaron on today. Doc. Yeah. Last week.
Here we go, baby.
You know what? We got an opportunity this week to win back the people. So, John, we're going to talk some Lions. It'll be a lot of fun. Talk about the NFL draft. We have some fun topics to kind of get through today. But, boys, how we feeling tonight?
Feel great. We're a week out, boys. 8 days to go, man. I'm excited. I cannot wait. That's all I can think about right now.
Going to be a good Wednesday show, always with John. I miss the boys. The Red Wings season's over, so I'll be here every day now. Just tough night last night, but we're back.
Yeah, we finally get our Gentry back for 1 hour and 20 minutes each night. We get our Gentry back. So can't wait. Great Wednesday. Can't wait to have the doc on. And can't wait to hang out with the fellas in the chat.
Let's go.
Yeah,
in the chat. I thought you said chat, and I was like, dude, what? What is that?
None of that.
Thought he said Chad. Is that what you meant?
Chat. Like SHAT.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is or what that means, but and we get the uniforms tomorrow, boys. I can't wait, man.
Ooh, yes. Uni drops tomorrow. Tomorrow will officially be a week away from the NFL draft. So please, for all you people listening, I'll say it again. You're going to want to get your tickets. We're preparing for the NFL draft show next Thursday at Bookie's Bar and Grill. Former Lions, former Red Wings players that are going to be there hanging out with the crew. We'll be doing a live show. If you can't make the draft at all, buy your tune in, not buy your tickets. But if you're going to the draft, buy your tickets, because I don't know what the mindset is for a lot of people going down there, but it's going to be a lot harder than people think to get down there. I mean, Nashville had like 1 million people walking around.
It's going to be a lot, man.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a place to be able to go, a home down there while the party's going on, go to Bookie's Bar and Grill. The links will be in the description. Our VIP party with questionable teas. Everything that goes into the party, expense-wise or costs of tickets and everything, goes towards a charitable cause. So please participate. It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait. I'm excited, fellas. We talk a lot. I talk to Scotty often. We talk. We're trying to plan everything out. We've got a lot of fun things planned, so can't wait. Pat McAfee will be down there. You know, ESPN. That there's going to be a lot of people from.
Hey, maybe
ESPN.
we'll have a couple special guests. Louis Riddick.
Maybe
my guy will be down there. I know for a fact. My guy, Dan Orlovsky. It's like my.
Yep, Dan Orlovsky. Yep.
You know, I'm like his little brother.
Yeah,
Peter Schrager.
Peter Schrags will be down there.
Yep, long lost Booner. Theo Vaughn and Shane Gillis will not be down there.
No, maybe if there's one, it would be Shane Gillis, big football guy, but I doubt it. But yeah, a lot of celebrities will be down there. A couple of those celebrities will be at Bookie's Bar and Grill. So please get your tickets. Link in the description, fellas. Before we get to football, I want to bring this up because when I saw it, I'm like, this is a perfect thing for us to talk about because it fits right into our wheelhouse. Okay, NBA. Do you see Jontay Porter? Banned from the NBA for life. For life. They dropped the ban hammer because they had an investigation regarding Jontay Porter, who's the brother of Michael Porter Jr., and he's not a bad player. He's a pretty good rotational player. There was a surge of bets coming in on Jontay Porter's under, like a lot of money, and that flagged the NBA, and the NBA did an investigation, and they found some shit.
I didn't know that was his brother.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was his brother either, but
yeah, well, I mean, they got his ass. I mean, it says right here, Shams put out, NBA investigation found that prior to March 20 game, Porter disclosed confidential information about his health to an NBA bettor. Another person connected to Porter placed an $80,000 bet parlay.
I mean, that's the dumbest
$1.1 million, wagering Porter to underperform. The bet ultimately was frozen. And the original tweet says NBA announces investigation found Porter, again, disclosed confidential information in one or more games for betting purposes and betting on NBA games. He bet on the Raptors to lose a couple of those bets as well. And he placed 13 bets on NBA games using associates account. So
this is nuts, by the way.
This has got to be, I think I saw the winnings was like 80,000. I'm not sure like in total. This man fumbled a professional career for like 100 G's, let's say.
That's
Yeah,
No,
like,
he actually placed that bet. I mean, he would have won 1.1 million if it didn't freeze. But either way, he's an idiot for doing that. And the league did the right thing by making an example out of him so no one else tries that dumb shit in the future. Because, I mean, honestly, I didn't even really know who that guy was. I didn't know he was Michael Porter's brother and whatnot. But, like, either way, total idiot.
Dude, this is the thing too with the NFL, where there were actually, what was the argument when this NFL and the Jameson Williams stuff started coming out? Because maybe one of you guys on our show was a part of that argument on the wrong side of it. What do you guys remember what it was where people were saying, like, just let them bet on the sport? Oh, it was let them bet on the sport as long as they don't bet on themselves or their own teams. The dumbest argument about betting of all time. I'm with like Gentry said. Bet on it. You're gonna get in trouble. Lifetime ban. That is a no-go. You can't do that. Whether, like, this is the prime example to where if you say, hey, no, you can bet on your sport if you want, but just don't bet on yourself. If that would have happened and what everyone was asking for 12 months ago when the Jameson Williams stuff came out, if that ever happens, you're gonna get more guys like this Porter guy. Like, that's just what this. We are humans. That happens. So shout out to the NBA for stepping up and saying, hey, this is it. This is done. We don't ever want to see any of this again. And that's the dumbest. You can't be that dumb. Like, if you are doing it, and I don't condone it, if you're doing it, no one's putting 80,000, even like the richest people in the world aren't putting $80,000 on a parlay. Maybe, but like Dave Portnoy puts bets on it. He'll do like a $500,000 bet, but I bet you he's not betting like a plus 1,000, plus 2,000 parlay for that much. Like, that's obvious that there's something going on. That was the dumbest thing of all time.
And it made it more obvious once, like, it was 3 of his props. Like, maybe if he just did like 1 of his props, but he parlayed like all 3 of his props, like his points, rebounds, and assists. So, like, he made it super obvious. Like, maybe if there was just like his points under because he's not like a very known player and his line was high, but like, oh my God, that's just way too obvious. 80K on a 3-leg parlay with all the same guy, like, and he's a role player.
I mean, look at this. Look at this graphic, okay? Look at this. He made about 2.4 million playing in the NBA, and in total profits from this, ongoing this betting scandal, man got $22,000. Which, like, don't get me wrong, $22,000 betting is pretty good. It's really good, but you made 2.4 playing in the NBA, and that 22,000 just got you banned for life. No more money.
Hey, I want to make sure none of you guys were the ones that were saying allow players to bet on the NFL players to bet on the NFL, right? Were you guys any of those guys? Please tell me. I know specifically in my head one of them at the place we used to work at, and it was one of the more ridiculous takes I've ever heard in my life.
The only thing I had
on other sports, but not the sport they play in. Like, they can bet on NBA. That shouldn't be a problem, or NCAA or whatnot. But no,
the argument that I heard when JMO got in trouble was, well, he should even be able to, like, at this point, like, so it's not a big deal. Let NFL players bet on the NFL. Just they're not allowed to bet on their own games. They don't talk to other players. Everyone has relationships with everyone. It's like, dude, come on. Like, that is the slipperiest slopes of slippeриest slopes. Like, that is a slippery slope. Like, that's unbelievable.
That is the slipperiest slope of slippery slopes. Like, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah. It's pretty safe.
Booner. The Booner pad.
Trademark.
No, when the JMO stuff happened, my initial reaction was it's BS because he was technically not in the facility. It's like he was in a hotel. It was just, there's so many, like, it was like there was so much like nuance and bullshit to it. That's why I hated it. I believe players should be able to bet on other sports. This Jontay Porter thing is like the worst case scenario. Betting on your own team to lose and betting on your unders. That a scenario in which any sports league does not want, fellas, is people questioning the integrity of the game they play. If people that tune into the sport have to wonder if it's rigged, you lost, and that hurts everything. So that's what they're trying to control. So the lifetime ban, like, I've seen people being like, damn, it's a little aggressive. Like, no, they don't fuck around with that. There's players in the NFL that have gotten lifetime bans. It's just, hey, fuck around. You'll find out. That's how that works, boys.
Dude, I'm not even in any of these leagues, and if I ever hear like insider information from stuff we know, I get nervous. Like I'm not making a bet on that. Like, you know what I mean? And so like I'm extra careful, and I don't even know stuff. I just like if I hear something on Twitter, or if I'm not even on Twitter, just like talking with people, it's like, yep, I probably shouldn't. It's like you're in the NBA and you're betting on yourself. That's like on the under. You can just dribble the ball off your foot one time and get benched for the rest of the game, and you win. It's crazy.
That dog mentality. Take the under.
You remember Tim Donaghy, the referee for the NBA? You guys have you seen that documentary? Like
crazy.
Wow.
That is what people do. That can't, any sports league does not want a Tim Donaghy just running around fixing games. And then you see something like what happened to the Lions, and people are like, now Tim started this, where it's like every ref is fucking with the game, and every ref has a parlay. So hey, Jontay Porter, he fucked around. He definitely found out, fellas. I mean,
Found out.
Yeah, he definitely found out. Before we get into a topic at 8:30, before we have John on, because at 8:30 I got something for you, fellas. We have not discussed much of yet. It's a scenario for the NFL draft for that pick 29. And it's a player that you might have to trade up for, but I want to throw the player out and we'll talk about him. John will join us at 8:45. That'll be a lot of fun. And then at 9:15, we're going to play a game that actually Michael Lucci's put out. And it's like, it's not, he didn't do it as a game, but he did something on Twitter and I'm stealing it. So Michael, if you're watching, thank you for that. It's a great idea. We'll do that at 9:15. But right now, we're going to do something that we'll probably do more, probably again as the season approaches. But we're going to be ranking NFC North head coaches. Okay, we're going to do this, and I don't know what answers you guys are going to give. They can be a fun extra. We have a Eberflus, not defender,
interesting one
at Toledo Bond. All right, we're going to test your Toledo loyalty here, and also you're technically a Matt LaFleur hater, so I'm calling you that. So I want to know where the boys stand on coaches in the NFC North. But what's up, Boone?
I'm just excited. I have a wrench to throw in this rankings thing for you guys.
Okay, throw it in.
I hope you guys enjoy it. No, it's when I do mine. I don't want to go first, but it's just when I do mine.
You can start. We can.
No, I don't want to. I want you guys to go. I want to.
Okay.
I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I'll go first. All right, I'll go first. To me, there's only one ranking. One. There's only one. My list should be universal. That's how it should be. Okay, let me tell you. Number 4, Matt Eberflus.
Waiting
for pushback. There's no pushback.
I'm waiting for that one.
Matt Eberflus is 4. 3, I'm going with Kevin O'Connell. Because to me, Kevin O'Connell and Matt LaFleur, it's close. Okay, I like Kevin O'Connell a lot. But what Matt LaFleur did this season deserves some credit. Okay, so Kevin O'Connell's 3 as of right now. Number 2, Matt LaFleur comes in at 2. I think he's a better coach than Lukas gives him credit for. Okay, and then at number 1, I'm going with Dan Campbell because that's the answer. So there's my 4. To me, that should be universal. Oh, Mike. Okay, Mike. See, this is why you're my guy. Look at that. All right. See, that's universal. If you disagree, we're going to have an issue.
We have an issue.
Okay. All right.
Matt LaFleur, Matt LaFraud. He's a fine coach.
Gosh.
Oh,
but I know.
Never get anything to this guy, man. Nothing.
I know it may be early.
Nothing.
I'm still sticking with my guy. The hire that I loved and I've been defending since the day he's been there, in Kevin O'Connell. I think pound for pound, you lay the 2 flat out. I'm taking Kevin O'Connell by a smudge over Matt LaFraud. So I'm doing.
Gosh. Do you guys remember like the biggest argument I've ever had with Lukas is about Kevin O'Connell? Because do you guys remember that? Like the biggest argument of all time, I think.
I'm confused. So does losing to Daniel Jones not mean anything to you? And at home? In a playoff game?
I've seen Matt LaFleur with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love get to the NFC Championship games one time. And then in that game,
wait.
Well, most
With
people-
Jordan Love, he got to the second round. Kevin O'Connell couldn't do that.
Yeah.
He got to the second round.
I give him credit for that. That's why I said it's close. It's close.
Kevin O'Connell's not even close to the second round yet.
Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur with Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins accomplished pretty much damn near the same thing in the same division.
Kevin O'Connell, has he won a playoff game yet?
Not yet.
Dude, he's 0 for 1. Kevin O'Connell might have coached the biggest fraud team of all time.
He's in much more. He's in much more of a situation he has to work himself out of than Matt LaFleur.
Dude,
without a doubt.
I'm pulling myself out of this argument because me and Lucas have gone to battle like badly about Kevin O'Connell and the Justin Jefferson and system wide receiver thing. I'm going to take a step back with this argument.
He's not a system wide receiver. Okay, Mike, what's up?
I think Kevin O'Connell has a top 5 offensive scheme in this league. I think he's more. I think both of the guys are offensive minds, and if you're going to ask me who has a better offensive mind, I'm going to say Kevin O'Connell. I think over time, he will be a better head coach.
I think O'Connell's very, he's an impressive head coach on the offensive end. But I just think what LaFleur did with the Packers this year, being how that team, was kind of mid all across the board. And then, you got Jordan Love, who had a hell of a season. So, and I mean, look at what they did in the playoffs as well. So, I mean, first year with that team, I don't think anyone expected the Packers to be that good or even play that well in the playoffs.
I mean, fellas, if we're talking about this year, if Kirk and Jeff, he was your boy, especially the beginning of the year. If Kevin O'Connell the whole season had Kirk Cousins instead of Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins, who he was somehow still winning games with, the whole Packers and Vikings,
they would have been good.
It would have been. It could have easily been a different conversation. Now, I think the Packers towards the end were a much better team. But if Kirk Cousins stayed healthy and how Minnesota was playing down the stretch, we had to have the argument of who's going to be the tougher team at home because both the Broncos and the Vikings were mid as fuck. But who was going to be the tougher team at home? And the Vikings were with a mid-ass quarterback play. I think Kevin O'Connell doesn't get enough credit as he should.
I think there's a bigger sample size. Should I get into my rankings real quick?
Yeah, give yours. I haven't heard yours
because I think there's a bigger sample size when it comes to Matt LaFleur over Kevin O'Connell. The sample size of Kevin O'Connell is he's shown Lucas that he can be a really good coach and a great coach in the NFL. But when like push came to shove, when he had the biggest fraud team in NFL history last year, when they won 13 one-possession games, and it's never happened in the NFL before, and then they got absolutely destroyed by Danny Dimes at their own place, I'm pretty sure, in Minneapolis. And they got destroyed by that. I don't care anything if Matt LaFleur had Aaron Rodgers. He got to an NFC championship with Aaron Rodgers. I don't care. Guess what? He went out there and did it. You had the biggest fraud team of all time, and you're supposed to be one of the best head coaches in the division. Guess what? I'm not buying it until he does it again, and he hasn't done it again. And Matt LaFleur, even when he lost Aaron Rodgers, he turned around with Jordan Love and said, we're going to keep on winning. We're not going to end this thing. We're going to keep our foot on the gas. And they went out there and beat the Dallas Cowboys on the road in Dallas at Jerry's World and knocked them out of the playoffs. So I'm going number 1, Dan Campbell, number 2, Matt LaFleur, number 3, I'll give you it, Klotzy. I'm not going to put him last, Kevin O'Connell.
Better not.
Now this is where things get mixed up here because I just don't have 4, fellas. I've got 5 on my list here. I've got Matt Eberflus at number 5. Dead last, worst coach in the division. I think there's a guy in the NFC North right now, even though he's not a head coach, he's a better coach than him just in his own position. That is the Detroit Lions' own Ben Johnson. Give me Ben Johnson over at Matt Eberflus. You guys see where I'm going with this here?
I do, Boone.
He is 100 times better at his position. He should be a head coach this year. Guess what he decided to do? He decided to say, hey, I want to stay with the Detroit Lions and build what we're doing. I want to go win a Super Bowl. I don't care about anything else. I could have had any job in the NFL I wanted to this year. I could have had any job in the NFL I wanted to last year. If Matt Eberflus tried to go anywhere in the NFL, guess what would happen? They would close the door in his face so fast and laugh at him. Ben Johnson could go take Matt Eberflus's job right now if he wanted to. Ben Johnson's the 4th best coach in the NFC North right now. Matt Eberflus is 5th.
Hey, talking to a Ben Johnson simp. So I
simp.
Absolute simp. So I love that. I didn't include him, but Booner, if you want to have some fun,
wanted to take a little path, an extra path here. So
if we're throwing Ben Johnson in there, Might mess around and put him top 2,
Two.
not 2.
Yeah. Whoa, Dan. Dan.
That's a little extreme.
Dan, look what Dan did in Detroit. Don't Dan, you know what's crazy? Every head coach in the NFC North right now, they're like looking at Dan like, I want to beat him so bad. I want to do what he's doing in Detroit so bad. Guess what they'll never do.
They'll looking at a grown man like that.
He's a what, top 7 coach in the NFL?
He's so good.
I want to beat him so bad.
I just want to beat this guy so bad. No,
I don't. I enjoy being myself. I enjoy being myself.
Matt LaFleur doing that
for sure. Well, no, actually, no. Come on.
When he's putting his makeup on and doing his eyebrows in the morning.
I go to stop with the Matt LaFleur hate. Me and him, we have the same degree.
You know what though? You know what though?
Where does the hate come from? Why do you hate him so much?
Packers are by far my least favorite team ever in the history of football. I can't stand looking at that clown on the sideline. Simple as that.
So I hope your favorite. Who's your
favorite?
favorite?
I'm sure he's a nice human being, but
I asked, you answered.
Yeah.
I will. Okay, so I struggled because I almost put Kevin O'Connell 2, but really because it's close. I think 2 and 3 are close. I would give Matt LaFleur the edge because of what Gentry said, because of this year, and because I just think with Kevin O'Connell, he still has to win a playoff game. Like she has to prove more a little bit. It was tough, but I can't discount what the Packers did with this a first year starter, Jordan Love. So, is Jordan Love better than Nick Mullins? He absolutely is.
Absolutely Some would say.
Some would say. No, Lukas Klotz, I don't hate it.
It's the sample size, though. It's the sample size. I think
I don't hate it
you've
at
seen
all.
more. Maybe after this year, Klotzy, or probably not after this year because they don't even have a quarterback.
I just know talent when I see it. So.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, Kevin O'Connell is he is a stud coach.
He's a wizard. Gosh, he's an offensive wizard.
Yeah.
He is good.
North, they got some good coaches.
I'll give you that, Lucas. The fact that he had Nick Mullins and what's it? I don't even know. Josh Dobbs.
And then who was the other one? They had a quarterback. They had a rookie quarterback in there.
Oh, it was Jared Hall. Yeah,
Jared Hall
from BYU. The fact that they were like winning with Kirk Cousins, and then that happened, and they came in, and they I think they might have gone on like a 6-game winning streak after he went down. Like they went on an insane winning. The fact that he was able to pull that together, Justin Jefferson getting hurt and being out, and they still TJ Hawkinson went out, and they still were
Alexander Madison, Ty Chandler. How do you stop that?
But they were still in the spot. Oh, by the way, did you guys see the Chargers' new running backs? I just remembered that. The Chargers just signed J.K. Dobbins. So they have J.K. Dobbins and they have both the Ravens running backs. Yeah.
Gus Edwards.
And Gus Edwards. It's crazy. Sorry, I got distracted there. My bad. On me.
Well, I will bring this up because it's a before we get to the other draft conversation I want to have. Booner, you put this out today. The Lions met with Michigan wide receiver Roman Wilson on a top 30 visit.
Interesting.
The Lions parted ways with wide receiver Josh Reynolds this offseason, and a lot of fans want them to draft a wide receiver in this class. Could you see him drafting Mr. Roman Wilson? Look at him. We
have the same tattoo. Me and him.
No, you
True
don't.
Yeah, the eye.
No, Booner ain't got no tattoo. He would not be able to sit through a tattoo.
No, the only tattoo you'd have, Boone, would be a Booner path.
I could take the pain of the tattoo. I just don't think I just get distracted. I couldn't sit still that long.
Well, yeah.
I would need. I don't know what I would need. I would need like a nice movie on or something.
They put a movie on for you.
They gotta wine and dine Booner before they give him a tattoo.
Honestly, dude, sitting around that long, that'll kill me.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I like Roman. I don't hate the player. I think Roman could certainly, just with his skill set, he could translate. I hate using this all the time, but it's so true. Like he does have that dog in him. He's got that dog in him. He's reliable. He's got hands. He's a good route runner. He's not a burner. He's more of like a, and Lucas could probably speak on this more, but he's just reliable, brings reliability.
Wow.
And I don't know. Wow, Robert. Holy hell.
Yeah, I saw that.
We'll that in a second, Robert. Appreciate you, though. I don't know if I don't like the fit on this Lions team, if I'm being real. I'm not in love with the fit. So that's where I'm at. again, people are going to come back at me. Jeff, it's about best player. I understand, but there's other receivers that I think that fit the X mold that you're kind of looking for. And I don't know if Roman Wilson's that. So that's where I'm at. I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't love it. And I know real quick, I know Roman ran really fast, 4.39, but I'm talking about more of his play style. Like they don't, especially with how Michigan used him. He's not like, what I meant was he's not just go routes and big plays. He's making big plays, but it's moving the chains. He's reliable, man. And he brings obviously quickness, but it's different.
Do you know who role he kind of fills? And he would probably be a lot better at it. Is Khalif Raymond. It's like he takes that Khalif Raymond spot and he elevates that kind of play up to a different level, because I think he's going to end up being better than Khalif Raymond in the NFL. I'm a little bit with you. I would rather have like an X Jeff, like Jalen Polk, like I've been on that, a Xavier Legette. I'd rather have a guy like that, Keon Coleman. But if they did, like if we were sitting there and then they're like, hey, announce Roman Wilson in the second, third round, I wouldn't be mad. You guys know me. Like, I'm a Michigan guy, but at the end of the day, I want players that can play football. I really don't care if we draft a Michigan guy or not. It's more so I think Roman is a dog, and whatever you ask him to do, he's going to go out there and do it. So that's where I do think there's a fit. And I think if like Dan and Brad, they don't really care if they already have St. Brown, if they already have Khalif Raymond. It's, hey, if he's a dog and we know he's going to help this football team out in any sort of way, and we like him, we're bringing him in the building and we're gonna draft him. So I'm not going to hate it if it happens. Like I would love Roman Wilson on this football team. I don't think it's going to be realistic though.
Yeah. I know for everything, like you guys said, I mean, he fits the mold of like what the Lions want in a player, but like you guys have said, we still need an X wide receiver. So I wouldn't hate it in the later rounds if we got Roman, because like Jeff said, he's a reliable, he's a weapon. You know what he can do and what he brings to a team. But I still think there's a bigger need for an X wide receiver than bringing a guy like Roman, because Khalif Raymond was really consistent last year when he actually was in, and he was a reliable guy too. So, I mean, I would rather figure out the X situation as far as the wide receiver goes than to bring in another slot guy.
Kind of like a Legette, Lucas. Kind of like a Legette.
I mean, I obviously would prefer an Xavier Legette, but if he's gone and the Lions decide to take wide receivers in round 2 or 3, I think Roman Wilson is exactly the type of player that they look to draft. That we talked yesterday. They want disciplined players on and off the football field, and they want guys that you look at, you're like, okay, that is a fundamental football player, but Roman Wilson does have a bag with him. Like the way he uses leverage in his routes, to your point, Jeff, when you're watching him, it doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but when you talk about guys that are football fast and can cover a lot of field, he can do that. You look at the Patriots, which I think the Lions, they're not trying to build like the Patriots, but how the Patriots got good, they had a lot of slot receivers outside. I think the Lions want to see what they have in Donovan Peoples-Jones, but you think about Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker. The more you can abuse the middle of the field to go with Sam Laporte and Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's one of those things where offensively you're getting better at what you did already good. So Roman, I think it's a fit. I don't think he's the X that everybody wants, but if the Lions took Roman Wilson, I think it's pretty much the same impact that Ladd McConkey would have if the Lions were to draft Ladd. So I wouldn't hate it. It's just he's a little bit smaller than Ladd.
Jeff, too, I real quick, I do think as well as like we keep saying X, and I'm with Lucas a little. Like it could be a fit if you bring him in. It's obviously going to be a fit. He's going to find a way to get in this offense. They don't again the draft. I hate just bringing this up. I'm going to talk about it for 8 days now. They don't care about we need an X, we need this, we need that. They're just who's going to fit and who's going to come in and work. That's all they care about. If they double up at a position, like, all right, you have depth now. And that's where I do think like Roman can be a fit, and he would provide something. Whatever NFL team he goes to, he's going to provide something, I think, like right away.
Yeah. And ultimately, like Keaton said, and Scott said, and Russ has said in the past, you're building around Jared Goff. So if you're getting more guys that he's comfortable with, like a Roman Wilson is that prototype of a wide receiver that he would like. Ladd McConkey, even though I would argue Xavier Legette, a bigger body guy, he would also appreciate. I mean, look what he did with DJ Chark when he was here. Like maybe that logic's a little overrated. Maybe it's overrated for me to even bring up the X stuff. Like to your point, Boone, maybe they're just looking at best players available. All the data I have really comes from the combine when they met with a specific type of receiver, right? They met with Brian Thomas. They met with Xavier Legette. They met with a type of receiver. So maybe that's where I'm getting this insight. But at the end of the day, it is best player available. And if they believe Roman Wilson is that, like, who am I to sit here and hate the pick? I would be fine with it. But again, I prefer a Leggett, a Polk, Keon Coleman.
Jeff,
I would prefer a Keon Coleman.
You have the list from the combine, and I actually heard this today. I can't remember who I heard it from. I can't remember what I read. There's this thing with the combine and the top 30 visits to where a lot of these coaches and GMs, I think it's like, hey, let's take more notes and notice on these top 30 visits, because the combine, and we were there, fellas. They probably don't get a lot of time to meet with guys. It's just very like, hey, let's just go. We have to go do this workout. We have to do this. We have to do this. We have to go to this meeting, this, and it's just, oh, next. These top 30 visits are, to me, are a little bit more. We're going to sit down with you. We have a full day with you. Let's sit down. We could do a workout if you want. We're going to have conversations with everyone. I think it was actually on the McAfee show. We talked about how they bring guys in. They'll have conversations with everyone from front office to ticket people to franchise or to fan, just to everyone. And that's why these top 30 visits, you start looking at that. It does, at least to me, it doesn't, maybe it doesn't mean as much, but there is kind of a little, if you see a guy do a top 30 visit, a combine visit, we're going to your pro day, that's when it starts to stick out a little bit more to me. Because at the combine, you're going to meet with a lot of guys. But these top 30 visits, you're a little bit more personal, I feel like.
I don't know.
I get your point. I get it.
Yeah, and I get Lucas's. No, go on, Lucas, because what you said is, I think, spot on about what kind of players they're looking for, and he fits that mold.
Yeah, I mean, you go back, like we talked about the one day, Booner, just his trip and his journey into playing Michigan football. He was born in Hawaii, hopping on flights to go play high school football. He did not have an easy journey to Michigan. And we talked about with Scott, where it's what if the Kansas City Chiefs took this player 32nd overall? And I think when you do that, you look at what Roman Wilson could do. You're like, okay, well, he can play through all three levels of the field. He's just not 6'2", 6'3". But you look at Jared Goff's play style. I think Jared Goff has some ability to push the ball down the field, but by far that is not his strength. I think even if they were to take a Brian Thomas, if he goes to Detroit as far as a deep threat, may never reach his full ceiling. He might still be a great player, but as a deep threat, might never reach that full ceiling with Jared Goff. So it's one of those things where Roman Wilson, I think, is an ideal fit for Jared Goff's game as well.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I
spot on, Klotz.
100%.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
That was a hell of a
couldn't have said it any better. You couldn't have said it any better.
Could have said it any better, Lucas. Hey, if the guy's a gamer, bring him home. You know what? Bring him home. That's fine.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot like Pearsall from Florida. There's a lot of dudes that are like Roman Wilson. It's just
Ricky
who
Pearsall.
do you prefer? Yeah, who does Dan prefer? Who does Brad prefer? These are all names that are going to get thrown in a hat come second, third round if they think they would need a wide receiver. And you're just going to get one of these guys. That's why I think looking at the whole list of guys, instead of just being, I want that one dude. All right, here's a list. We're going to be happy if we come out with any of these guys.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned Pearsall. Speaking of white guys being drafted, I will. Yeah, speaking of white dudes being drafted, I'll transition. Cooper DeJean, fellas. I was getting my haircut today. Went over. Shout out to Joey's over in New Haven. I love that place. And I was getting my haircut. Spencer, owner of the shop, Joey. He's sitting there. He's like, Jeff. He always talks to me about some ideas he's got. He goes, Jeff, I don't know where to bet it. I told him I'd ask you, Boot, but I think DraftKings has it where they can bet on a specific player to be drafted at 29 or bet on a player to be drafted to the Lions. He goes, book it. It's going to be Cooper DeJean. He believes it's going to be Cooper DeJean.
29?
I don't know why. It's a feeling he has, or trading up maybe to get him. He likes
cracker back.
Listen, it's something when I heard it, I was like, you know what? Maybe let him cook. I don't know. I want to bring it to you guys and bring it to the chat. The idea that the Lions trade up or he's there. I don't think he will be.
I want to
trade up for Cooper DeJean.
First off,
he fits he's a Dan Campbell guy.
I want to let Klotz go first. Klotz, before you go, I just want to throw this out there. I think Cooper DeJean is top 25 a lock. I don't think there's a chance he falls to 29.
Got to trade up.
You would have to trade up. I don't think 29 is possible after his pro day. Klotz, you do your thing.
That's my thing. Before Klotz goes, if we're going to be trading up for anyone, I think there's a few guys that we would trade up for before we trade up for Cooper DeJean, and that's my thoughts on the subject.
I'm trading up. Go get me.
It's an interesting fit for sure, and he's a great player by all means. But there's a few other players you could trade up for. If you're going to be giving up capital, there's a few other names.
Klotzy?
Cooper DeJean. He's a fine player. He's putting on for the set for the white DBs out there that couldn't get it quite as far as him. You could say that Riley Cooper last year walked so Cooper DeJean could run for Iowa Hawkeye cornerbacks getting drafted. But if you're asking me, Brad Holmes moving up for Cooper DeJean, I'd vomit. For a safety in the first round after you just drafted Brian Branch, not named Mikey Sanders, so I just vomit. Because I don't see the fit that he'd ever, again, we talk about reaching his ceiling. Cooper DeJean would never reach his ceiling in Detroit with their active roster they have right now. If he's sitting there at 29, maybe. But then again, it's like, how often is Cooper DeJean going to see the field? I think he's a great player. But again, just not one in Detroit. Like, I talk about Mikey all the time for he's a first-round pick, but I just don't think he's a first-round pick for Detroit. I think just the value is safety in the first round. They're fine on safety. They need safety for depth. That's what you get in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Cooper DeJean at 29, fuck no. Nope. Ain't doing it.
Just thought I'd throw it out there.
Shout out to Crackerback, though.
If you
I wish him success.
I will say this. I'll make this very clear. If they trade up, it should be for an edge. It should be or for one of the best corners in the draft. Boone, you mentioned Quinyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold. It should be one of the best corners or an edge.
Eduardo hit it on the dot.
There you go. Eduardo O'Neill. Shout out to you. He says his fan base will break if they trade up for Cooper and Latu/First/Turner/Arnold is there.
Yeah,
Eduardo, we're in that fan base, so we would break. Yes, absolutely.
If we traded, if we wasted any assets to go make any moves to get anyone, and it's Cooper DeJean, I will have an issue. I haven't really found a lot of situations in my head yet.
Just be racist.
No, I've just
that would be a racist move to move up just for Cooper DeJean. That's a racist move for Detroit Lions. No, you don't do that. It's
so hear me. I'm the leader of the Booner Pack. I will sit there with Brad Holmes and support him. That's just, to me, it's if you're trading up, if you're wasting assets, it's not Cooper DeJean. But if you're trading up, make a splash. Go up to 12. Go up to 15. Go get an edge. Go get Quinyon, like Jeff said, like exactly what Jeff said. Go make that move if you're gonna waste, not waste, but if you're gonna use assets, go get a guy. Don't just go do it for a Cooper DeJean who, maybe he can be a guy, but he just broke his leg 8 months ago. I'm okay with that. I'll pass on that. Now, if we're sitting at 29, Cooper DeJean falls, then we can have that conversation. Maybe that's a different story. Don't think he will fall, but that might be a scenario to where a little bit at the draft, I'll look over to the boys and go, all right, what did we just do? What just happened?
Injury, Brad Holmes. Maybe
Loves
he's a little intrigued. Maybe he's a little intrigued.
All about it.
Contributes on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what he's preparing for the draft.
Not just saying that because he's white, but I'm just saying. I didn't say it. I'm just saying that Cooper DeJean,
he's a good football player, Jeff Iafrate. Doesn't make him just gritty.
You lunch pail kind of guy, first one in, last one out, type of guy like your daughter to date. Yeah, anyway, go on, Boo.
Imagine if Brad Holmes is when he's preparing for the draft, you have like your list of guys, like you get like a piece of paper, and on your piece of paper, instead of it just being like the top 100 guys, it's the top 100 injured guys in the last year. And, all right, we've got our list now, boys. Here we go. Now we can move forward. Let's start evaluating. And it's just like every player that got hurt in college football last year.
I kind of have some breaking news. I mean, and this is serious, okay? I know I joke about it, but this was recent, and I want to put this up before we get to John. Shout out to you, Gentry, for getting me this so quickly, because that's very, very clutch. He posted this, it says an hour ago in the screenshot, and that was at 6, so it's been up for a couple hours. You guys see Tracy Walker's story?
I have the screenshot, and I was going to go post it on our Twitter.
And I'm
he
back.
said, and I'm back at Detroit Metro Airport. Could we be seeing a Tracy Walker return for a discount?
I mean, I think that would take a Cooper DeJean pick off the table. I'm all for Tracy coming back.
Tracy, man.
Yeah, I mean, people were dissing him for how he finished the season, but then they forgot about how important he was when Brian Branch wasn't fully there. CJ Gardner-Johnson just got hurt. They had Kirby Joseph if he wasn't stepping up. Like the first Packers game when they were in Lambeau, Tracy was huge. He had a couple of big impact plays. Against the Falcons, he had a really good game. Against the run, Tracy's very solid. Just in the past, those injuries, I think that's where they caught up to him.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think if you get Tracy on a discount, I mean, why wouldn't you? And kind of like you said, erase the draft pick and then kind of go more on your needs of the defensive line and address wide receiver. I mean, you know what Tracy's going to bring, excuse me, but I wouldn't hate it at all, especially if you can get him on a discount.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, he's culture guy. Culture guy. They love him. He's just a good dude, and he's a good football player. He brings some depth. You know, he's not, especially with what they need. They need and we all propose Quandre Diggs, but it's for a similar reason. Someone that's played a lot of football, and Tracy's just been here. He knows the system. He's familiar with the players and coaches. That's a benefit. So I think bringing Tracy back would be great. Bring him back on, like Steve said, a vet minimum. If he wants to come contribute, kind of get, again, because he's coming off an injury. He's looking for a short-term deal to prove himself to make some more money in this league. So I think the Lions are a great fit for him. I do. So I'm all for bringing Tracy Walker back.
Yeah, I'm in for it. I don't think Tracy, too, and I think Lucas might have already said, I just don't think he was like bad when he was playing. It just, if he came back, was playing better. CJ Gardner-Johnson came off that injury, and obviously CJ Gardner-Johnson. So you had to get him in. So I don't think it had anything to do with his play. And we saw earlier in the year, he can make plays. The only thing and this isn't a bad thing. It's just like he's not good at, like a ball hawk, or he is a ball hawk. He just can't finish. And he doesn't get a lot of takeaways, but he puts hits on people. He makes plays. So getting him on the vet minimum, I'm all in for that. I can't remember what his deal was last year before they cut him at the end of the season.
I think he was on the end of his 3-year. I think it was like a $20-something million deal.
Yeah, it was like $8 per year, something like that.
Didn't they have to release him though? Because didn't he have another year left?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they saved about like $6 million, something like that.
Okay,
they saved money releasing him, so that's why they did it. But if they bring him back on a cheap deal, then yeah, I mean it works out for him.
He'll make the roster. He's a guy that's going to be a depth on this roster.
100%.
It was just, I think that $6 million you could save is way much more than maybe a $2 million or a $1 million dollar deal. Like that's a big difference.
They freed him up for Marcus Davenport. That's what they did.
Is he when you look at Cooper DeJean, I mean Cooper DeJean had a better 40 time than Trent McDuffie. Same broad jump as Jalen Johnson.
Should I interest you? I don't know, man. It's just
same vertical as Steve Smith.
Hey, I mean, Steve Smith also was like,
I'm kidding. Those are all true stats, though. I just saw that. So
that's what I'm saying. Like,
DeJean's
not one of like those gritty guys. No, like DeJean's like one of those. Who's that white boy? He's one of those guys. He's not one of those like, oh, he's gritty. Like, hey, whoa, hey. Out there locking up D1 wide receivers. He's going to be a good player in the league. It's just, if you're asking me, would you rather have Cooper DeJean in the NFL draft, or would you rather roll out there with Tracy Walker again as a depth piece and then address the position next year in the first or second round? I'd rather go down that route. Again, DeJean, great player, but it's not for the Lions.
Yeah, edge, corner, offensive line. I'll take multiple positions over a safety in the first. That's where I'm at. I like Sanders still. I have to keep that same energy with Cooper. If they take him, I wouldn't hate it, but I just would be like, why? They have safety depth, but it is what it is. John's going to be joining us about a minute or two here. So before we get to him, I wanted to bring that up. And I think also, I don't know, Quandre Diggs has not signed. I think that me getting excited about that, I think it was all for nothing. He'll probably sign with the team. Same with Stephon Gilmore. None of those guys have signed yet. So
it wasn't.
They're probably waiting until after the draft to sign with a team.
It was on April Fool's Day. I don't know if it was serious, but Quandre Diggs did post something on Instagram where it was like a telephone pole or telephone line that had cleats hanging over it. So he might be retiring. As far as Quandre goes specifically,
that had to have been for April Fools. He's so
maybe,
young
but it's
still,
like
right?
why? Like what? Why is Quandre Diggs trying to fool everybody that's retire on April Fools? I don't know. It would seem like an odd thing to do.
Yeah, how old is he? Like 31?
Probably early 30s. He's definitely past 20s.
He's got some balls. I mean, what's up to him? I guess he made a lot of money in his
He's
career.
not at the end of his career. There's no way. There's no way that's the end of his career.
He's better than Jamal Adams right now. Yeah, for sure.
If it's the end of his career, I will personally pay him some money out of my pocket for him to come to Detroit. I'll start a GoFundMe and we'll get some money raised for him to come. Don't end your career. Come to Detroit for a year. Come win a Super Bowl with us. You deserve it. Come on.
He's got a front row ticket on the path.
Bring him home.
Yeah, he's allowed. It's the same thing with Jared Goff and them. I'll pay out of my pocket for all these guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, every single week, I don't care what it is, I'll pay out of my pocket to get Mr. John Maakaron in here because he is
legend.
He's waiting to join the show. Please welcome the one, the only.
Here we go,
It's
baby.
Wednesday, which means Wednesdays with John Maakaron. We get to see what he has in his cup. Could be a lot of different things.
I've
Well,
got
welcome
my
on the show. Publisher of All Lions, host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. Please welcome in Mr. John Maakaron, the Doc. John, welcome to the program. What's going on, my man?
Fellas, what's happening? Look, you know it must be a big time for the Detroit Lions. Nothing in the cup. I was reading draft coverage, learning about some of these prospects, looking at film, just all deep in the coverage of the Detroit Lions. It's mock draft time, the uniforms, cutting up film. It's just a great time, man. We're a week out from the draft, and everybody's super excited, as am I. Super excited.
John, you had an interesting week. I mean, you got to go and meet with Jared Goff, Brock Wright, Taylor Decker. How was the kind of media day there with some players getting a workout? And kind of your thoughts also just as it relates to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff's contract extension. I know that was spoken about a little bit. Amon-Ra wasn't there. Any insight on that as well? But how was meeting with the players?
Yeah, it was great. You know, in a situation in which we just left the facility like 2 months ago, you kind of feel like just how fast the NFL calendar is. It really never does end. I felt like I was just there. And you recognize coming on the heels of Jared Goff's comments, it was going to be interesting to see what the tone and the tenor of that talk was going to be. But Jared Goff, you know, it's a time to reconnect with the fellas. It's casual. It's just the boys lifting. It's great to see, you know, Jameson Williams. Great to see Jared Goff back. Great to see the new guys back in the building. So, you know, the talk is now for a football team that has high expectations, and everybody's super excited. So the tone of the meeting, everybody in the chat was very positive, was talking about, hey, just what's it like now having these expectations. We also had a chance to talk to Brock Wright, and we all wanted to know what it was like for him to get the offer. So it was like just catching up with the fellas. And really, it's just now a football team that is starting day one to begin the process of winning a Super Bowl. So for me, I'm super thrilled, super pumped, because the expectations are there. They have realistic expectations that they can meet some really high goals. So it was fascinating to be down there and to just kind of get a sense of, the big news obviously was Taylor Decker revealed he had off-season surgery, and you hope that he can recover in time for the start of the season. He said he could be, you know, he's expecting to be back by training camp, but you realize the wear and tear, and people talk about how much of a beast Frank Ragnow is, but Taylor Decker played on a rough ankle and foot last year. And, you know, for him trying to come back and the warrior that he is, you realize, man, these guys put their bodies through so much to try and play. And to hear his description, if you go back and see his description of the injury that he had, I couldn't even barely walk if I had pain like that. This guy's out here playing high-level NFL football. Crazy stuff.
Why?
That is crazy. I was shocked when I heard that, and he played all through the season. It's crazy. John, I do want to kind of we're a week out of the draft now. I know you said you're doing now you're kind of locked into the draft, getting that all set. With Brad Holmes the last 3 years, and we may have talked about this in the last few weeks, but want to get where you're kind of feeling a week out. Brad Holmes has made some of these big splashes in the draft to go get Jameson Williams, moved back for Jameer. Do you, at least being back in the building the other day and kind of diving into this stuff, are you starting to get a sense of, or like kind of a feeling that he's going to make one of those moves again? And, you know, I did a mock draft this week, trained all the way up to 12 to get Quinyon Mitchell. And we've done mock drafts where we traded back to go get a Mikey Sanders still. Like, do you see him doing that again? It feels like that's like the Brad Holmes thing to do, to chase down his guys. Where are you at with that a week out? How are you feeling about the whole Brad Holmes thing and what he ends up doing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, to address also Jeff's question, I don't think Goff's extension's close, neither for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just think that when you're talking big numbers, north of $50 million for Goff potentially, or, you know, maybe he has a set number that he does not want to go below, and maybe that number is $50 million. You know, I just think that those kind of deals are going to take time. The one that's going to be interesting is to kind of decipher who's going to come first. I think that they're going to probably take care of Jared Goff first, and then you slot in Amon-Ra St. Brown. And it's going to be interesting because that Devonta Smith contract made things a little bit more of a headache for Brad Holmes, because now Amon-Ra St. Brown definitely is going to command more than 25 million a year. And you probably could see him making 4 years, 100 million or plus with a lot of guaranteed money. I wrote at All Lions a contract that I felt would be fair. I think it was 4 years, 112 million with 75 guaranteed. So for those guys, those contracts, they got to be hammered out. I don't think they're going to come soon. So it's just going to be real fascinating.
Doc,
yeah, go ahead.
With the Amon-Ra situation, he wasn't at
Nope.
the thing this week. Is there anything to be, because I haven't, you see Justin Jefferson, you even see some guys on like the Giants and just random players who are on their last year of their deal. Then is there any, and nothing comes out about Amon-Ra St. Brown and any concern on that? Is it just he's not he just has something else right now, or is there an actual concern of him about
it was brought up obviously clearly Monday. The media asked Jared Goff, and he said, look, Jared and Amon-Ra work out so much. They're simpatico. Do you think they need more work together? Do you think they need to have more dinners? They both are out in California. Amon-Ra can do whatever he wants. I'm not concerned. Do I think it's contract related? No. I think that Amon-Ra is a true pro, and he will not do anything to make waves. He doesn't need to come to voluntary workouts. The man, look at him. He catches 200 balls after practice every single day. So if anybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Jared Goff said, look, guys, we're good. We don't need to be hanging out this week. It's like a vacation. They're probably taking a break from each other because they see each other so much. So I'm not worried at all about Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's the least of anybody's concerns. Now you look to the draft and everybody's wondering, okay, we're going to talk to Brad Holmes tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning. So stay tuned to all the coverage from everybody and myself at All Lions. We're going to ask those key questions, and we're going to ask about the draft board. We're going to ask about kind of probably what he thinks about the different positions and things like that. Maybe ask about, have anybody made some offers to him to come up to get 29, those kind of things. But, it's going to be interesting because it's hard to predict if they're going to move up at this point, because when you look at it, everybody's board that we're kind of evaluating is just based on the media's perception of what team needs are. Everybody's NFL draft board is completely different. And I know we have the common names we're all exploring, but there are probably some names on there for Brad Holmes that he's graded a first-round pick that nobody's talked about. So if there's a player that they love and they have any doubts that he's not going to be there, there's no doubt about it. Brad Holmes will do whatever it takes. Daniel Jeremiah, we were on a call with him earlier today. He said, look, it's time. If the Lions are close, he said, if there's a player that they feel is impactful on defense, maybe an offensive lineman, he feels like, hey, go up and get him. And for Brad Holmes, this is his opportunity again to cook and do his thing. I have no doubts that if he wants to move up, he certainly will. Now, the question is, though, does he do it for an offensive player? Is he willing to go up and get, a Thomas? Is he going to go up and get a Keon Coleman? Would he go up and get one of the top wideouts? Would he do it for a lineman? I tend to think he might do it for an impactful offensive player. But to me, I think if the board falls, we all got to hope that luckily that a couple of the players that are slotted that he likes stay at 29, and you can get an impactful player. So Brad Holmes has a variety of options, and all of them look good in terms of what he can do. All of them. It's just, I think, the happiest time. And I think it's the time, you guys were all talking about, negativity. This is the time to be positive because Brad Holmes earned the respect of the entire NFL world with the 3 drafts that he's had. He's like, you probably could say he's got 5% bust rate. So Jesus, it's a great opportunity that a lot of the players that he's put on this roster have an opportunity to contribute. And there's not a lot of busts, just a handful, and it happens.
Yeah, and Doc, kind of want to ask you a question about Hutch. The guy's expectations continue to rise. Do you think he can kind of take that next step forward next year into chasing the defensive player of the year ratings?
Yeah. First of all, did you guys see his tattoo? The man's preaching. Yeah. And it was interesting because I was kind of, I am a guy that's religious, but I'm not overtly like that in public. But a lot of what the Lions like, they do like religious players. They do like those that have faith in something bigger than themselves. He's got that nasty tattoo on his arm, breathe God or whatever it is. And people were like, whoa, you got some of the people that were anti-religion coming after Hutch a little bit. But look, I look at Aiden Hutchinson as a player that's going to be a breakout player again for the Detroit Lions. I think that you could expect 15 sacks, especially if they go out and get him an opposite edge that's going to be impactful with the emergence of Davenport and James Houston. I expect nothing less than 15 sacks from Aiden Hutchinson. I think he learned a lot from the drought that he had, learning and grinding through some of those times where people were wondering, wait, you're getting all these pressures, but you're not getting home. You don't think he's hungry, getting that taste of getting to the Super Bowl and hearing all the whispers of people saying that he can't do something? Man, I expect him to break out, and I expect him to take another step forward and be more of an impactful football player, because you recognize that defensive line, when they get right, it helps the secondary, it helps the defense in totality. They got the new defensive line coach, who I think is going to be and bring another nasty edge to the coaching staff. So I think Aiden Hutchinson, it's time to buy stock in him and really kind of slow down on the criticism, because he's only 2 years into the league, got a lot of attention from offensive linemen, and didn't have as much help as that you would expect along the defensive line. Now, when you give him that help, look out. I think he's going to cook, and I think he's going to be one of the guys to talk about in terms of defensive MVP and all-pro, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Doc, that's actually a perfect transition. We had the conversation earlier this week about Aaron Glenn, and we're going to take a little deep dive into the past. And this is what Aaron Glenn in 2021, this was the defense that he inherited. Michael Brockers, Aleem McNeil, Nick Williams, Trey Flowers, Alex Anzalone, Jalen Reeves-Maben, Charles Harris, Jerry Jacobs, Amari Uwarie, Tracy Walker, and Will Harris. So I think it's fair to say that Aaron Glenn has never really had a good step forward as early into this rebuild. And now that you see these moves have been made, what is your trust factor for Aaron Glenn to produce next year and be able to hold his own weight on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, like I was saying to a lot of people, if you're Aaron Glenn, you got to look at the offense and say, oh my goodness, look at all the talent that Brad Holmes has given Jared Goff, the offensive line, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you look at it and you're still scrambling to put together the secondary, still need more help along the defensive line. You know, look, defense is just a nightmare position because the league is just making every single effort to make the offense have the advantage. But look, every year they've gotten steadily better. Now, here's the thing, though, that would probably give a lot of people concern. I don't think he's the best X's and O's defensive coordinator in terms of matching up against other offensive coordinators. Yes, he can blitz. He loves the pressure. He loves certain, in terms of his scheme and in terms of zone coverage, man coverage in the secondary. But I look at Aaron Glenn and I say, look, man, when you see an individual that's that aggressive and gritty and can, really he's trying to tailor a scheme that fits the talent. And last year in the secondary, he was forced to, bring a lot more pressure because anytime the team would play man, it just wasn't great with Jerry Jacobs and Cam Sutton. They gave up far too many yards. He had to adapt and do a bunch of different things to try and make up for it. And that involved bringing down the safety, a lot more blitzes. But you recognize, too, that he was willing to make adjustments. Now, he needs more talent. He needs more. Now, what I want to see is Jack Campbell take another step forward at the position. I want to see Ifeatu Melifonwu continue to thrive. I want to see this. Now that you got probably cornerbacks that you, Aaron Glenn, probably weighed in on and supported, I want to see the secondary perform at a better level. And even though, he's more of a guy that's known for the secondary, that you're still in charge of the defensive line, and they didn't bring enough pressure at times throughout the year. It was inconsistent. So he has room for improvement. And I think, too, he'll take it personally that he's kind of known as the afterthought interview in these NFL coaching interviews. I think that people are talking way more about Ben Johnson. But Ben Johnson openly said, hey, I know everyone's talking about me and everyone's giving me the respect and all that, but I'm not as good as an offensive coordinator if I didn't have to match wits with Aaron Glenn. And I think that he's going to evolve and continue to get better. And you're looking for this defense to get into the top 15. And I think they can do it, but can they get into the top 10? That's yet to be determined.
I'd love to hear that.
And John, speaking of like the pressure thing, you brought it up. We've spoken about James Houston, and a lot of us just kind of assume like the Lions, I think priority, at least for fans, we're all in the consensus is trade up for an edge. But then there's also, I believe Colton Pouncey was talking about, well, maybe Brad Holmes has a lot more belief in James Houston than people understand. where are you at with James Houston? And what do you think? Because they signed Davenport, they got some guys they like. I still believe they need another edge, but do you believe Brad has as much faith in James Houston as maybe some people think, or do you think the edge is something that you believe maybe Brad will try and grab, knowing that, like you said, pressure you can never have enough defensive linemen, John.
Just checking out the comments real fast. No, worse, Jago. I did not say that. I said what I'm thinking about Aaron Glenn is that he's not getting as much respect as Ben Johnson is because of the fact that I think Ben Johnson works closely with Dan Campbell, and I just think the defensive position is so tough to excel at, especially in this league. And I do think that Aaron Glenn has he's got more work to do. And I think that both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn have more work to do. And I'm glad that they stayed here. The interview process, I think he'll learn what these coaches are, what these owners want, and he'll have an opportunity. Now with James Houston, what an interesting player to kind of explore and watch film on and to see what he can do. Here's the thing. The guy has a skill, and it's one of those things where he's got a talent that every NFL team will covet, which is he's got the natural talent to pass rush. But the Lions don't want to just cultivate a one-trick pony. They want James Houston to be able to recognize different responsibilities, to understand that his job is to be able to manage the edge rusher position in its totality, which means setting the edges, recognizing run and pass differentials, learning how to be able to keep your fundamentals in order in every scenario. And for the Detroit Lions, currently, they recognize clearly he's a third down pass rush specialist. You can put him out there, and he's got a high percentage chance. His pass rush win rate is spectacular. So you need him out there. But they need him to do more and evolve. And it sucked that he missed the second year with an injury because that takes away from his development. But I do believe he's a hungry guy. He's taken the challenge of the coaching staff to, hey, learn more, do more. And he's still a young player. But, boy, when he gets it right, when he understands exactly the totality of his responsibility, he's going to be a guy that you can trust to learn from Marcus Davenport, learn from, hopefully a young draft pick that has also elite pass rush skills. And I think he's going to be a guy that, in town, I think is going to become a player that everybody respects and gets to know even more when he gets out on the field, 3 downs, and has the ability to set the edge and do everything that he's supposed to do. I love the ceiling on James Houston. I think that, best thing to say is he's the problem, and he'll be a problem for a lot of the coaches in the NFC for a long period of time, hopefully.
John, I want to stick in the trenches here a little bit, other side of the ball. You did mention Taylor Decker, too, a little bit earlier in the show when you guys spoke with him this week. There was the conversation that came up about his contract, and I want to bring this up because I did hear today Bill Belichick bring up how he thinks this is a very, very deep offensive tackle draft. Where are you at, and what is the feeling, do you think, with this whole Taylor Decker situation? He did say that both sides, it's mutual. They're trying to figure something out for an extension. Do you see that being it is a deep tackle draft? You have Penay. You could extend Taylor Decker. Do they look at tackle at all if some guys fall with as deep as this draft is, or do you think this, hey, move, because we talked about this on the show yesterday, or just might as well move on with Taylor Decker, sign a couple-year deal, a couple-year extension to move on? Are you in the same spot as kind of where we are with that, or?
Booner, are you trying to ruin the vibe? Are you trying to get me in trouble with the Decker Pecker? Come on.
I didn't even realize that Decker Pecker was in the chat right now. I want it very clear. I want Taylor Decker in Detroit.
I thought this was the portion of the show we get to pivot and talk about me a little bit more. It's been a little bit, but no, let me talk about Taylor Decker. First and foremost, all due respect for his run in Detroit. Okay, he's had to deal with people like me talking about trading him, talking about, making him expendable. All he's done is come out and protected Jared Goff and has been a player that is reliable and is gritty and is somebody that you can count on to do the job. But here's the thing. I think he plays out. Look, he said that they've had preliminary talks, and I just think that you just let him play out this year and you move on. And that's where I do think that they will potentially look at, the Lions should look at potentially looking at his replacement. Because here's the thing. Taylor Decker's older now too. Sometimes You also have to pay attention to the fact that he's revealed that he's dealt with a significant foot injury. Now he's feeling better, feels incredible. But you think the wear and tear of another season of playing football at this level, I just think that potentially, he wants to so desperately play his entire career in Detroit. That's going to be a very interesting decision from Brad Holmes. Now, if it's me, okay, just me, I'm a little more cutthroat. I'm like, okay, the limit at offensive line is 30-31. I'm going with a much younger offensive line unit. Brad Holmes thinks a little differently. Hey, no problem. Got Zeitler, got Graham Glasgow, and Taylor Decker above the age of 30. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all gels. I think he's going to play his heart out, and I think the Lions should wait and see before they offer him more money. I think that he's got a nice, healthy cap hit. He's done the Lions a favor before by adjusting his contract, but I just think that this is a natural situation. You let him play out his deal, one more run at it, and then you respectfully move on. It's the toughest thing because you have options. You potentially could move Penei Sewell over to the left side and draft, I think it might be easier to cultivate and develop a right tackle than it would be a left tackle. And you got Penei Sewell as well. So it's something that we'll talk about maybe here or next week, because I did a podcast earlier today and I started to bring up the question, who's the odd man out? Because look at the names: Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, Taylor Decker. All these guys are going to start commanding hefty contracts. So I posed the question to my co-host, who's the odd man out? Who's the guy that's going to be voted off the island? Could be Taylor Decker. Now, I said something that maybe, will upset people when it comes out, but I said it could be Jamison Williams. Not because he stinks as a player, but because you can replace a wide receiver that has talent and speed, I think, a little easier than an offensive lineman or somebody else. So I expect Jamison Williams to ball out, but if he's going to start wanting to command $25 million and upwards of those kind of numbers, Aiden's going to break the bank. Penei's going to break the bank. My thinking is that, hey, if Jamison Williams, the ultimate pressure is on him. If he doesn't start to show that, hey, he can do some things, he might be the odd man out. But Taylor Decker, I think that he deserves respect. Probably doesn't deserve all the trade talk, but look, I put him on all the cap casualty lists, each and every article, because his number is so high, 19 million. You potentially could save some money moving forward. And look, I want to see Brad Holmes, cap wizard here, try to maneuver all these numbers in the next couple of years. The cap does go up, but not to the point where you can pay every single person north of $20 million. So I do think potentially this could be Taylor Decker's last year in Detroit.
Interesting name to throw in there just to think about in the future. Ali McNeil. He's someone who's due for an extension. Haven't heard that out yet.
Yeah,
that's
Kirby
a
too.
big Kirby. There's a couple names that some guys are going to have to walk, and Aleem to me is.
It is early. It is early to have those talks, but you got to think about it. Now the players are going to start commanding big dollars, and it's a little simpler to negotiate a bunch of young rookies on their first contract. Now, when you start having those young guys wanting money, you're going to have to get creative with the fifth year, the fifth year options. Those signing bonuses add up pretty quickly, and you still want money for a rainy day. So yes, you can extend the cap down the road for a long period of time, but that's when you end up maybe losing multiple good players. So that's why this draft is also, every draft is important, but this one is going to be very important for Brad Holmes because it's going to continue to restock the talent, and I'm very curious to see which positions get restocked.
Yeah, you're paying Penei Sewell, a top tackle in the league. He should play left tackle.
Set the market.
You put that man at left tackle.
It's an interesting conversation to have about all these players. There's a lot of dudes on this team right now that are on their first year deal. There's going to be a lot of decisions in the next 12 months.
Yep.
And John, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Roman Wilson had a visit with the Lions. How do you like the fit with Roman Wilson and the Lions offense? Or do you think they need to go out and kind of get a true X wide receiver?
Well, personally, I hate Roman Wilson because I'm a state guy. So I saw that guy get open every single freaking – I had to watch Michigan intently because the Spartans were god-awful. And who
so
was
you got to see how good he was.
Yeah, Roman Wilson was open, and the dude can run routes. And the Lions should pay attention to guys from Michigan because they were just professional, and they had challenges, and they overcame them, and they were winners. So, look, do I think that he's got a value? I do. Depends on what round that these general managers think he's going to go. I think that whatever team's going to get him, I think he'll be productive. For the Lions, I just think that I like the setup that they have now in regards to Antoine Green, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Khalif Raymond, and you have another guy that they have from the Saints as well. He's a developmental guy, but he's also a guy.
Baby.
Yeah, he's got experience. He can do some things. And to me, I think there's a little bit better players in the draft that you could go after. So I don't have a strong opinion either way. I think that he's a solid player, great route runner. I think that he's got very high football IQ, all the things you would want. I think he fits that I word that me and Jeff talked about. He's got all the intangibles that you would like. So I do think that he's going to be high up on a lot of teams' boards. But look, you got, there's only so much to go around, and I don't know if that position for the Lions is going to be targeted early on. So Daniel Jeremiah did talk to the media today, and I had my guy ask. I said, because I am a successful individual, I said to my guy, hey, I want you to ask Daniel Jeremiah this specific question: which wide receivers do you think could be targeted in later rounds? And some great names. Jalen Polk, I think, is a guy that people.
My guy.
Yes, mocking, but
I love Jalen Polk.
A guy too that Jeremiah said that I was like, whoa, the son of Jerry Rice.
Brendan Rice.
Yes, is a guy that you think about lineage. You think about somebody that understands everything that goes into being a solid NFL football player. I just think that, man, if you can get Jerry Rice's son, you get him on this roster as soon as possible. That man will climb the hills of Allen Park. He'll be probably running next to 2 weeks in. He'll be running next to that shitty Detroit sign and being like, I can fly past this thing at a 4.5. So I think this wide receiver class is deep, and you can get probably someone in the 4th, 5th, 6th round that can be real productive for you. And many people believe this wide receiver class will produce and yield a lot of talent moving forward. So you might not even have to go that high. You can get maybe a similar or a comparable player to Roman Wilson later on.
Yeah, Doc, and I think I do believe they will add a wide receiver in this draft. I don't really know where at specifically, but when you look at this receiving core and you look at what I think is going to be the best tight end in football next year with Sam Laporte, and I think we would all agree with that. What do you think his jump production-wise will be when you also talk about adding another wide receiver to this receiving core?
Yeah, so you definitely want to talk about Sam Laporta, right? Man, I think that, what a rookie season, man. I just think you sit back and you realize that everybody says, look how hard it is to succeed at that position. Look how hard it is to come into the league and almost dominate. And right away, the Lions upgraded from TJ Hawkinson. I was somebody that was like, wait a minute, you guys sold on TJ? This is a productive player. This is a guy that maybe on a winning team doesn't get traded. But my goodness, he comes in and he's got all the tools: size, speed, athleticism, hands, gritty. You saw at the end of the year dealing with it, getting banged up and still getting out there. Man, I just think that the sky is the limit for Sam Laporta. I think that he could get easily double-digit touchdowns. I think he's going to really battle J-Mo for targets and touchdowns. I think that the guy's competitive. And what was wild, though, if you look at it, if you just go back to his kind of rookie mini camp and training camp, he was all loose and like real silly and just kind of laid back and but he tightened up real quick when he got talked to a little bit about, hey, be a little more professional out there. And he kind of tightened up, gave a little bit more of the standard answers to the media and, the kind of one snap at a time. I just got to look to get better, clean up my mistakes. So that was funny to see.
They got to him. They brainwashed.
Yeah. He was like, I only ran into Jeff one time. And I think after running into him, I don't want to talk to anybody in the media. They all want my picture. They all want to get up on me and take away from my preparation. So I was like, I get it. A lot of fanboys in the media. I get it. It's all good. But I think that, listen, you hit a home run with Sam Laporta. And to bring back Brock Wright, too, great run blocking tight end. I think offensively he can do some things. I just think that when your head coach is a former tight end and you have a great tight ends coach who also a former player, you're in great shape at that position. The Lions and Jared Goff and the tight ends, I think, are going to have a lot of offensive production. You can be very happy. Sam Laporta could be in a lot of conversations for All-Pro, Pro Bowl. I think he's going to become even more of a household name nationally with the kind of season he's going to have.
Before we let you go, John, we got some questions here. And this one I think would be a fun one. We'll probably talk about it after you head out too. Eduardo says, what is one walk out of the room pick for the doc?
Walk out of the room meaning like I'm pissed and I'm not happy.
Like, fuck this. I'm out.
Oh, man. At 29, that's going to be interesting to see because now they revealed who is going to announce it. It's going to be a bunch of youth football players and it's going to be festive and things like that. I doubt it. I would be very shocked if they traded back. So a walk out of the room pick, somebody that I would truly hate. All right. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to upset my fellow Caucasians, but I would walk out of the room if they drafted a white defensive back. I just would be I'd sit back and be like, oh shit, they did it.
Hey, Doc, I just got made fun of for saying that.
Spot. I'm hearing them in the top 15. I look at it and go, guys, nobody of my persuasion plays cornerback. That's not the position we play.
Persuasion.
The Caucasians don't play cornerback. It's just, listen, we don't have to
sugarcoat
it. They don't do it. So I would walk out if it was Cooper DeJean. He's a gamer. I think a lot of people like him. I think he's got options to be a special teamer, but he's coming off the injury, which probably makes him a Brad Holmes guy. But I'm of the opinion that position is a nightmare to learn anyway. And if you got Amik Robertson and Carlton Davis and Cooper DeJean, I'm just going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to be nervous all year about the defensive backs. I think you got to go with Kool-Aid McKinstry, taller, TJ Tampa, taller, more physical, and not as injury prone, not coming off of an injury that was pretty lingering since November, I think, with Cooper DeJean. And look, I watched this film. I watched this film. In terms of technical, he's got a little bit of a slow burst in regards to his, quick twitch burst in terms of catching up with these receivers. I don't think he's gonna project long in the NFL, in my opinion.
What about as a safety, Doc?
That's what I'm thinking, is that he's going to be transitioned to a different position. Yeah. So look,
here we go.
I don't think the Lions need that. I'm happy with the two they got, and I think you can find safety depth in the draft, or maybe even bring back a veteran. So Cooper DeJean would be that guy for me.
30 minutes ago, Doc, on this show, I said because I think Cooper DeJean's a top 25. He's going to go top 25. You're going to trade up for him if you get him. If they traded up and they wasted draft capital and assets to get Cooper, and they're like, Cooper DeJean, pick number 20, the Lions traded up. That might be one of the only things. And I'm a Brad, me, Doc, you know me. I'm a Brad Holmes stan. I'm the Booner Path. That's probably something on our live show I would look over. I might throw my mic down. I might dump my Kool-Aid on the floor. I don't know how my reaction would be, but I would not be
Kool-Aid, Boone.
Would not be a happy camper. I would not. I'll let that be known.
All it took was a white DB, shook up the entire Booner path. That's a shame.
It all crumbled.
Yeah, it all crumbled.
I need to prepare to stay under control just in case that does happen, so I can lock in here, Booner.
That's your Nate Wiggins, Boone.
It might be.
Yeah. John, this is why it's so great you're on, because I saw this on Twitter too. Can you just clarify the rumors? The Dick's Sporting Goods, this is like an annual thing with these jerseys. Like what?
No. Okay. Listen, Dick's does not release the Lions uniform. And look, the Lions are playing the game. They're teasing it. They're getting everybody riled up. But I love the sleuths out there on the internet. You guys are doing your thing. You want to know early. I'll be down there, so look for all Lions around 8 o'clock. We're allowed to post everything that comes out, but I'm sure season ticket members will be for sure around the time of 7:30 when it comes out, that they'll be posting it. I mean, to me, I'm not a big evaluate what other dudes are wearing kind of guy, but for the Lions, Honolulu blue, I would love it. I'm not really a fan of black. I think Honolulu blue and silver, that's the colors. The one thing that I would say is my thing with the uniform would be I want the lion to look a little bit stronger. I didn't like the skinny lion on the alternate helmet last year. Boom. I want it to be bold, Honolulu blue, and get out there and win. To me, the uniform, it's great to write about, to learn the history. We have the history of the Lions uniforms, and we ranked them at all Lions, to read all that and to see the evolution of the jerseys. But to me, remove the WCF, remove anything that reminds people of the SOL era, and let's just keep it to where I'm hoping that the fan base that really clamor for that are excited about it. Because you guys are the ones that are going to pay the $150 for it. So my era of jerseys was over. Because guess what my run was? You guys want to think about this? My 3 jersey run was Charlie Batch, Joey Harrington, and Charles Rogers. So I was like, what am I doing with my money? And I said, forget it. I stopped buying Lions jerseys a long time ago.
That might be a curse there, Doc.
The NFL for way too long. He was one of the worst quarterback. Him and Curtis Painter. I don't know if you guys remember Curtis Painter when Indy was terrible. The 2 worst NFL starters I've ever seen in my life.
John, what's up with the black unis? All right, we like them.
I get it. A lot of players say, hey, we win more games with the black unis, more ferocious, the symbolic, psychological nature of black. But the Lions colors to me are Honolulu blue and silver. That's what it is. Honolulu blue Kool-Aid. I don't think of black. I think of obviously the numbers, the lettering, and all that black trim and stuff like that. But to me, the Lions colors are Honolulu blue and silver. So to me, I'm not really a fan of the all black. It seems different. That would be a true change, in my opinion. I'm just not a fan.
Still love you, John.
It's all good, man.
It's all good.
What about all whites, though, John?
What's that?
What about all whites?
Ooh, I like the all whites. I think they play well in those. And Jared Goff rocks that, man. He's out there doing his thing. And I think the fans. I think this group of Lions content creators and all the behind the scenes people, they know what the Lions like. They know the fan base. And I do think that I did a podcast earlier today, and I asked like, hey, do you think the Lions will have, will give the fans what they want? And I think they will. I don't think that they're going to upset the fan base, knowing how big and hyped up this is. They'll deliver, and Thursday night you all will react live to it and have a good time with it.
It's another brutal duo right there.
By
Roy Williams, Dante Culpepper.
Yeah. And it's just, John, as long as we don't get a new helmet and then you just put it right on the gray unis. I thought that was ugly. That's just my opinion.
Right. No pajamas. No stinky pajamas.
No, please not. Please check out John's stuff. John, we appreciate you Wednesdays.
Appreciate you, John.
John Maakaron, publisher of All Lions, host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. Join us every Wednesday. Can't wait till next Wednesday, John. Day before the draft. It'll be a great show, but we'll catch you then. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you for still inviting me after I went on.
You're always
you are going anywhere, Doc.
Listen, no, I got you. Listen, I saw the comments. I chimed in a little bit. No worries on that front. But yeah, Robert HR, I am a talker. That's what I do for a living. That's how I pay the bills. So that's what I do. And look. If you guys probably get a sense of who I am. That was a tequila-filled rant of me talking about myself. Yeah. Hey, it happens, but in the end, I put in 10 years of work and I just let it all out on your guys' show. So I gave you the respect of doing that, but I can tell that the audience is not going to be fond of a middle-aged guy just talking about how great he is. But I will say this: if you get a chance ever to do it, it's very, very much. It was rewarding. I felt so good afterwards. I was like, holy shit! I just aired out everything I wanted to say for 10 years online with the guys that I respect. So I appreciate the airtime. And look, I will say this though. Okay, a little inside baseball. When I left, some dude dropped $10 to you guys to not put me on the air. Okay, listen, guys, that is just a little secret of my success. People say they tune you off. They say they don't read. Let's just say, Jared, like I toasted at the beginning, Jared Goff, good for business. Thank you, Jared.
There you go. The Doc, John Maakaron. What a legend.
Doc, you're allowed to say whatever you want. You're allowed to do whatever you want when you're on our show.
Absolutely. I always will.
I don't care what the people say.
I don't either. I love the chat. I love Eduardo. Man, that guy's great. That guy's made coming to work every single day fun. Listen, I look forward to it. I look forward to next week. It's going to be fun. Like I said, I listen to you guys. You guys are doing it. You guys are rocking it out. And I can't wait to hear more of your takes. Maybe less mock drafts. I think that's not your guys' strong suit. I think you guys got to move away from the mock drafts and do something else.
Doc.
Yeah, do you want to hear more about the Booner path? That's what you're looking for? Some JJ McCarthy?
I'm ready.
Oh, Lord, what is it? He's
gone. He's like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here now.
It's like you get him for a little bit and he's gone.
That's awesome, man. He is a legend.
John Maakaron. The one, the only. Yeah, check out his podcast, Detroit Sports Podcast, on all podcast platforms. John does a good job. But yeah, what's funny?
None. You're good. You're good.
Is that what it was? Is
The
that
hair?
what it was?
You were turning into that guy again. Who was the guy that we were talking about that you looked like? With the hair when the hair comes down?
From Shrek. From Shrek. What's it?
Oh yeah,
Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad. Yeah, Lord Farquaad.
Hey, it's trimmed up. I'm not Lord Farquaad.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, you got that today.
Go like this.
Good.
Go like this real
Good.
quick. Give us a side swipe down. Give us a quick side swipe down. Real quick for the people. Come on. And he's back, baby. Lord Farquaad.
Ew.
Oh.
Real quick. Do you guys know, how do we get back to the 4K here? Do you guys know the back in the day, the chopper bikes that you used to ride? Like that's like Jeff's hair, just like handlebars, like chopper handlebars.
Or the mustache from Polar Express.
Hang on tight, baby.
Jeff's just
The
getting
scene from Polar Express where at the top of the train and they're like hanging on by the dude's mustache.
Okay, all right.
Every time
We're
he pulls
done.
it, he like screams for the moose. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, this is getting out of control here. All right.
Hey, the haircut looks great though. Can we see the side?
Yeah, it does. It does. Spencer did a good job.
Come on, give us
He
a
did
side
good job.
look. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The Lord
man.
Farquaad, it was good. Hey, they were right. Hey, when the chat's right, I'm with you. All right, they were right about the hair, so I had to clean it up here.
Lord Farquaad with a trimmed up beard, man. Never thought I would see it a day in my life.
Yeah, look at Eric Allen, my guys. This looks good down, bro. Not slick back. There you go. Thank you, Eric. See, Eric's been
Put it down for the rest of the show, then.
Somebody's got to make him feel good.
No. But fellas, I do want to.
stop.
We're at a point in the show here where I do want to play a game. It's kind of fun. Michael Lucci's put it out, and I thought we would have fun with this specific exercise. And Michael put out this kind of exercise we could do. He did it himself. It's, oh my God, it's reacting to kind of, you're ranking players in like tiers, right? If the Lions draft a player, there's, oh my God, yes. There's love it. There's can live with it. And then there's, oh my God, no. And you see his list of players where he would have them. Oh my God, yes. Love it. Can live with it. Oh my God, no. So I thought we'd do our own ranking as a crew. And we'll start with, we should start with, oh my God, yes. We should start with hey, Michael, yes. War Roundup, check out. They did a whole spotlight on the fellas. It's you can check them out on social media as well, but also
they do a great job.
Yeah, Michael's doing a great job, man.
He does an awesome job.
But Michael, we're stealing this because it was a great idea. But we'll start with, oh my God, yes. So we'll go through, give me your freak it out. Let's go. This player was drafted. If you've been watching the show religiously, you probably have an idea of some of the players we're going to choose. But we'll start with you, Boone, and then we'll go around and kind of give all of our picks.
Now, is this just at 29 or is this just in general?
Yes, 29 at pick 29. That's what we're going to do. So oh my God, yes, you're freaking out. You're chugging the Kool-Aid. You're saying, let's fucking go. All right, that we can, and I don't think it necessarily has to be at 29. Maybe you could do.
I say walk out the draft.
Walk out of the draft. Yeah,
because I obviously, I would say just like my mock draft, I would love Quinyon Mitchell or a Jared Verse. If it was a trade up, those two guys to me, because Dallas Turner's not going to be available, but those two guys, if they were going to trade up, those would be the guys that I would put at the top if I only picked two. Now at 29, I think a guy like Jackson Powers Johnson, again, like that, not Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, I guess I would be fine with that. Not love. I think I'm a little stuck on
Who would you love? OMG, yes, Boone.
Yeah, OMG, yes. I think I'm stuck on the OMG, yes. I'm so stuck on Brad Holmes making a move to go up and get a guy that they love. I'm going to go Jared Verse and Quinyon Mitchell. As crazy as that sounds. I think I might add someone to it, but I think those two would be, oh my gosh, here we go. And you know what? No, I'm going to add another one to it. I would love Darius Robinson. I actually would love that. I think getting an edge, that's if you stay at 29 and Darius Robinson's available. I've done so many mocks the last few days, and there's a lot. Majority of the time he hasn't been available, and there's a reason he got invited to the draft. They think he's going to go. He's going to go in the first, and if he falls to 29 and he makes it there, I think that's a good pick. So I would OMG. I love Darius Robinson, Quinyon Mitchell, Jared Verse.
Gentry, give your trade up version and then give your stay put version. We'll do that because that's a good idea.
All right.
We'll do both. So
Well,
trade up version.
my trade up version would be Quinyon, Terrion Arnold, and then Jared Verse. And then my regular version would be Brian Thomas or JPJ. If somehow Brian Thomas, I don't even know if I don't think he's gonna fall to that pick, but I'd be going ape shit if we got him. And then
Okay.
JPJ, you know how versatile he is on the offensive line and how much help the Lions have needed as regarding the injuries and whatnot. So adding a guy like him would be huge at 29.
Love it.
Yeah.
Klotzy?
I mean, you guys already know at 29, if we stay put, who I'm going for. If he's still there, if by chance Xavier Legette is still available at 29.
Brother, I'm gonna tell you what, he will be there. He will be there.
Hey, you sound confident in that, Booner. You sound confident.
We made a bet,
you
didn't
sound
we
real
not?
confident in that with Jalen Polk rising, as he should.
Saw him
But
at
that
32.
doesn't come
We
at the
didn't talk
discount.
about that.
That is Xavier Legette. The discount, that is the dog out of South Carolina. So at 29, that's where I would go. And then you talk about somebody that's like my OMGS for trading up. Without a doubt, it's Leatu Latu. I think he's the best pure pass rusher. He's the guy that can really elevate Aiden Hutchinson into the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. And I think there is possibly even a chance that he is that Montez Sweat. He is that Jeffrey Simmons that just kind of slides. Obviously, different issues with off the field medical. But there's a chance he's there at 29. If the Detroit Lions get Latu, it's game over. It's game over. It's a wrap. They talk. What's the slogan, Booner? What's the slogan for the Lions this season?
Fill the holes.
No. That too, but it takes more. It takes more.
My bad. We're talking about the early Booner Path slogan. That's
okay. That's fine, but
you confused me a little bit.
Hey, that's on me. That's on me. But Latu, he brings more. He brings more to the defensive side of the ball, and more importantly, puts Marcus Davenport as a rotational piece, which I'm fine with. So brings that too.
Fellas, we talked to you for a second. All right,
let's hear it.
You're asking me, who's my oh my god, yes. All right, I don't know what my version of drinking Kool-Aid would be, but I'm screaming, I'll throw my headset, whatever it is. 3 players. I got 3. 1, Quinyon Mitchell. If you could trade up and get him, it's a stretch. But if you could trade up and get him, who I believe he's the best corner in the draft, I'm freaking out. All right. The second would be the guy that me and Lucas have a crush on. It's Leatu Latu. Absolute dog. If you can go out and you trade up and you get him, you're getting arguably the best pass rusher, definitely the best pure pass rusher in this entire draft. I'm freaking out. All right. I'm throwing stuff and I'm excited. So that's the second one. The third one.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to go Terrion Arnold. You're still leaving with again. You see a theme here. You see a theme here with who I want. One of the best corners, who I believe the best edges. Those 3 guys I'm cool with. You could throw Jared Verse in there too. I mean, that could be a couple, but those 3 are like I'm freaking out. Let's go.
Who was the first one? I'm sorry, I totally blanked on that.
Quinyon Mitchell. Mitchell.
Okay, because I heard you say the edge, and then I heard you go Terrion Arnold, and I was like,
lock in Booner.
I couldn't remember if he said Quinyon Mitchell, and I was about to go. I'm happy I asked that question because I was about to go at Jeff's head because I thought he said Terrion and not Quinyon, and that's me and him. We're on a nice little wavelength when it comes to Quinyon Mitchell. So I thought he jumped aboard off the ship for a second.
Now I will say, you stay put. You know where I'm going. Give me Kool-Aid McKinstry. If he's there at 29, you take him. Someone I believe one of the best man-to-man corners in somebody that I think press man coverage, absolute dog. And I think the Lions, Dan Campbell, they met with him, ran basically a 4-5 with a bad foot. He's a gamer. Want to use that term? He's a gamer. And it started as a freshman. I can give you the whole spiel here. Started as a freshman in Saban's defense. Absolutely love him. That's my stay put at 29. I'm cool with it. I'm in love with it. Another one I would say would be JPJ because I think long-term value, you get a future guard / center. You get someone that you can start immediately at guard if there's an injury, but also start at center. So there's the 2 stay at 29 picks for me. So those are mine.
I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna kind of go a little curveball, not a curveball. Jeff, I'm gonna say Kool-Aid. I would love the Kool-Aid. I'd be fine with the Kool-Aid. I love that. If he becomes a Detroit Lion, I'm in on that. What I'm gonna do though, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this or if this counts. I'm gonna say based on the guards, like if Graham Barton falls, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Zach Frazier, JPJ, any of those guys are at 29. I love it. I'm with
Well,
that.
here's the next slide, because I think a lot of those guys fall into it for me. This is love it. So this is love it. Not oh my God, yes, but love it. Like I'm cool.
Is that
with
what we
it.
were doing? Right?
No, we were doing oh my God, yes.
Oh,
Absolutely
okay.
freaking out. All right, like home run pick. Let's go.
That's my
Big W.
that's my love it. I just went ahead. I thought we were doing
All right,
that.
there you go. So
it's
just
all right.
insert offensive lineman.
Guard.
And
I think those three guys, like a Zach Frazier, Graham Barton, JPJ, I would love it if they just say, and I'm kind of almost expecting it to where if they're just sitting at 29 and one of those big time guys make it at 29, I would say, yep, I love that. We're fine. We just built up our offensive line. You have or you have Kevin Zeitler on a 1-year deal. You have a guy to fill that void. Now you know what you have. Now, if Kool-Aid McKinstry's there, I would love that as well. You're adding depth to the corner position. You're giving yourself depth. If Amik Robertson, if you need someone to help fill that void, like there's things you can do. I think any of those top guards fall, guard/centers, and Kool-Aid McKinstry. That would be my love it crowd.
All right.
What about you, Gentry?
I had something similar for the Love It crowd. I didn't name all the offensive linemen, but I did put JPJ in my oh my God, yes. But I have the same scenario with you, Booner. If any of those guys fall, they can fit into that Love It category. But the three guys that I have is Darius Robinson, Kool-Aid, and then Mike Sanistril for my Love It. Those are my three guys. I know Mike would find his way into this defense, and he can fit in so many different ways, versatile guy. And then Kool-Aid, obviously, for all the great things Jeff has said. And then Darius Robinson, being the one edge rusher that they've been really high on, met with and whatnot, I would still love that pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick with the wide receiver. I'm going to go at 29. I would say A.D. Mitchell. I would love that pick. Ladd McConkey, I would love that pick on the defensive side of the ball. As much as you think I hate him, Jeff, Booner, Gentry, I'd put Kool-Aid McKinstry on that tier, and I'd also put Darius Robinson. So I'd have 4 guys there.
Yep.
I'll go Darius Robinson and Mike Sanistril. And then you could throw Zach Frazier, Graham Barton. Like, that's kind of my next tier. Like, I would love those picks. I'm cool with that. Notice I haven't named a wide receiver yet, but we'll keep it pushing. All right, we'll keep it pushing. Can live with it. All right, this is where you can live with it. Like, all right, I'm not
wide receiver.
Let me get mine out the way. Because you already know where I'm going. You already know where I'm What?
You didn't deserve that, Booner. You didn't deserve that.
I didn't want Jeff thinking
This is a problem from Adam.
Hey, I can pull up the headband.
Are we going to talk about the headband? Are we going to talk about the headband and the hair? The guy that needs the biggest haircut out of everyone right now. No one's seen Adam in public for 8 years. That man just grew the worst haircut of all time. and he's trying to cover it up with the head. And he's trying to cover it up with the headband, saying, "No, I'm trying to treat my hair."
Not even. Booner, the worst part is, it's not even a headband. It's a sweatband. It's a sweatband.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to train my hair. I'm trying to train my hair, fellas.
That's a tough one.
Adam, father of one. He can have whatever hairstyle he wants. He's taking care of a baby.
No.
Two.
You can't go at me.
Adam's hair has always been that long. He just always has it slicked back and like sprayed with something or gelled or something. It's always been long.
Adam might be the hairiest guy I know in my life.
I used to get so weak when they call him like the Bear Man in the chat on the morning show. I forget what they call him, but they call him like Bear Man and shit like that, bro.
Yeah,
so Adam would be like, I just shaved yesterday, and it's just like.
Well, I
like my goatee. I don't care what you say, Adam. There's some things I listen to you. That one, I'll never listen to you. You and your headband and that hair that you have growing right now. All right, let's move on.
Well, I'll say, boys,
that man came out of the womb with hair on his face.
My I can live with it Any wide receiver. I don't care.
That's not fair. That's not
No,
fair.
I think that's fair because that's exactly what I was
Not
going to say.
fair.
I was going to say
Yeah,
Xavier
not
Leggett. I was going to say any of those top guys. I'm fine
Shame.
with it. Because
Shame.
you don't know, Lucas, you don't know who's going to fall. You
Shame.
don't know who's going to be there at 29. If some of those guys are there, I'm living with it.
Definitely not.
Wide receiver, I'm in on it. I'll live with it.
Well, hold on.
You tell me that if you just insert wide receiver here, they're all the same tier.
Hold on. Let me take that back. I'll say I can live with it. I'll go defensive tackle. Like if they trade up for Jerzon Newton or he's there and they take Jerzon, I can live with it. I'm happy. I'm cool with it. Honestly, boys, I think, oh my God, no, I'm going wide receiver.
Oh, you fucking
Oh, no.
loser.
Dude,
you loser. Loser's mentality.
Mhm.
Loser's mentality.
Yep. Thank you.
Loser's
Yep.
mentality. No way.
Even gave me a thumbs up for it too. Mhm.
So would you go Nate Wiggins over wide receiver? Chop Robinson over wide receiver? Oh, you're disgusting. That's gross. That's just
Okay,
gross.
maybe Chop I'd throw in there too, but that's it. Wide receiver. Point blank.
I can live with it. I honestly
Marius
did have
Mims.
3
You
wide
go
receivers.
Marius Mims over a wide receiver. The man who played 8 games in college.
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe Jeff. Though.
Now you're getting into the specifics and the. I mean,
That's what this is. Isn't
all
it?
right. Okay, fine. Kicker then, because if they take a kicker, then I have
Oh, my gosh.
No.
Taking a kicker at 29.
Oh, my
Foo-foo.
gosh.
Foo-foo.
Jeff might have just ruined the experiment. This was a fun experiment.
I'm going. Hey,
Goddamn,
I'm
Jeff.
jumping right to it. Nope. Oh my God, no wide receiver. I can live with it. Really, safety. That'd be. Any other position than what we named, corner, edge. I can live with it.
Put wide
But-
receivers and running backs on just the positions that Jeff hates. He hates.
I don't
He
hate,
sees
just-
no
I don't
value. You
wanna
can
add-
just keep drafting them in the middle of the draft. Replaceable. You don't need to re-sign him unless for that elite guy.
Jeff, I thought you were for Brian Thomas.
He was. He
I
was
like
the first one to bring up Brian Thomas at 20.
Okay.
Or trading up. He was
Hold
like
on.
literally the
You
first
get
one to
up
do a
with
mock
Brian
draft
Thomas. You
with
have
Brian
my
Thomas.
attention. You have my
No,
attention.
hold on.
Now I can hear you.
Hold on.
He's
Hold on.
the
Calm
stand.
down. Calm down, everybody. It's like Jared Goff at Ford Field. Calm down.
Quiet.
Everyone,
Quiet.
chill out. This is
So
where
he
I'm
doesn't
at
have
with
the
it,
haircut.
okay?
Tuesday.
Brian Thomas Tuesday. Brian Thomas Jr. I do, but that's someone I like as a player. But when we're talking what the Lions need, guys, why are we talking wide receiver like you walked out of this last year like that's what they need at 29? Like the deepest wide receiver class last handful of years. Go out and grab any other position. You could take a wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round and still come out with a productive player. There, I said it. Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed
Booner?
in you. After all that I've preached,
2nd or 3rd,
all
still
that
a
I've
very
preached,
valuable player.
all that
Can I
hold
make-
on, Booner, real quick.
You don't need one
I'll
of the
make it
first.
quick because
You
I'm
don't
more
need one of the
disappointed. All that we've preached and we talked about the Kool-Aid and the Xavier Leggett, where you can see it and you won't hate it, but you can live with it. And now, look at you falling back. Not a man of word, not a man of honor. You just sat back there and you just shit on everything I've been preaching for the past 2 months about why. Because you need a weapon. You look around the NFC. I went down the spiel. Go ahead, Booner. Go on. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, well, so this is my thing, and I'm gonna play the devil's advocate just a little bit because to Jeff's point, and I'm almost. I that's why I put the wide receivers in. Like I wouldn't care, but I'm not going to put them, and I would love to have with that 29th pick because I am with Jeff. There are needs, and I know Brad doesn't look off needs, but I think like BPA and needs, there are better guys than wide receiver. This wide receiver class, we just keep preaching it. It's so deep. You can get a Jalen Polk in the 2nd or 3rd round. You can get a Roman Wilson. There's guys you can go pick up. Ricky Pearsall. Like there are dudes you can pick up later
Brendan
that are
Rice.
going to probably do value to where you already have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. But you need, if there's an edge available, you need an edge. And if it's BPA, I would rather have an edge. Lucas, you said a couple weeks ago that like when it comes to needs and getting guys at 29, that like the edges, the corners, those are guys you need right now. Wide receiver isn't like, oh, we need one now or we're not going to win next year. No, you're going to probably win next year. You need an edge. You need a corner. If those are guys available at 29, I would love that. If you get a wide receiver, I'd be like, all right. But you can get a wide receiver that's going to probably give you the same. You need a wide receiver 2, 3. You don't need a wide receiver 1 at 29. You don't need that. You need a 2 or 3 guy on your team. Go get that in the 2nd or 3rd round. Jalen Polk, one of those guys. And then that's where I'm a little bit on Jeff's side. I'm not going to say I would be mad, but I have the wide receivers in the position of I wouldn't care. But I'm not putting it. I would love it. I would. OMG, yes. No. I just think, like, Lukas, you talk about value all the time. You talk about what we need on this team, and that is just, I don't know. Your argument doesn't coincide with
value.
It's not
value, you say.
See, that's where I'll get you wrong too, because there's wide receivers, and you're the one that as well says it with us. This is a deep wide receiver class, so the value, you can get a guy in the 3rd round who's going to be your wide receiver 2 or 3.
Value, you say. Need I go down the list that I made of the cornerbacks taken past pick 25 since 2016? Do I need to bring that up? Do I need it? Because that's history. And history has a funny way of repeating
so trade up and get a DN. It's
better.
Hold on. I would rather.
And I'm fine with that. But now you're talking about why are you so offensive wide receiver friendly? Well, yes, this is a very deep wide receiver class, probably one of the best wide receiver class we've seen in a long time. So that upper tier talent is a little bit better than when you have these other wide receiver classes. Because hey, what are we doing here? You're acting like there's years where there's a bunch of good wide receivers and just every year it's the same product. No, this is a very good wide receiver class. So the receivers at the top of this class in a different class would be even more coveted. A lot of these guys that are 2nd round picks would be for sure back 1st round, middle of the 1st round type of guys. So you're asking me, I'll use one of the names, Jeff Gladney. You give me Jeff Gladney.
This is unbelievable.
Go look.
RIP, by the way. RIP.
This is blasphemy, as Stephen A. Smith would say. This is unbelievable.
I'm looking back at history. I'm looking at defensive end. I'm not even having the conversation with. But you talk about corners.
That's part of it.
You go back and you look at the history of how many corners have panned out since pick 25. Defensive end, I'm cool with. But I think there's guys that you look at. There's going to be 0 corners, in my opinion, past pick 25 in this year draft that turn into cornerback 1s. Unless Latu drops, 0 defensive ends.
You just said you'd love a Kool-Aid McKinstry pick.
I would, because it's a good fit, but he's going to be a cornerback 2. I think he's a cornerback 2. He's not going to be a guy you're putting on an island.
Lucas. I just want to. I'm getting a little frustrated over here because you don't need a wide receiver 1. If you're going to waste a pick when you're about to go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you're acting like you can't find good corners.
Let me break this down for you real quick. Let me break this down real quick. Wide receiver 1, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. You're on a chance to go win a Super Bowl in the next 2 or 3 years. You don't need to waste a pick in the top 30 on a wide receiver if you don't have to, just to be like, well, he has wide receiver 1 potential. No, go get a defensive end, trade up that has wide receiver or defensive end 1 potential with Hutch. Go make your defense better. That's 23rd in the NFL. And then go get a wide receiver number 2 in the 2nd and 3rd round at that value, because it's such a deep wide receiver class.
I'm all for trading up and getting a defensive end.
You're reaching with the wide receiver.
If you stay at 29, we look at the teams that are really good at drafting. A lot of the times, did the Philadelphia Eagles need another defensive tackle last year? No, but they still went and got Jalen Carter. Did the Seattle Seahawks need another wide receiver last year? No, but they got Jackson Smith and Najimba.
But Tyler
when you
Lockett's
look at
getting
team, and Jamison Williams' contract is coming up. Jared Goff potentially getting older. You need more weapons to put around Hendon Hooker. You talk about, okay, I could get a guy that could potentially develop into a T. Higgins and my Jamar Chase, and then you have a Hendon Hooker that can develop along with them.
At 29,
you can go, well, what's the need? Insert here, we get a B-plus guy. I'm not going to hate it, but I don't think that's a corner by any means. I think you could get out Darius Robinson. Wide receiver, you're hitting every time. The amount of wide receivers, especially at the top of this draft, I'll take it.
Hey, Jalen Reagor was a late 20s pick.
Yo, he what was 16? Or what was he like?
He was in the 20s.
Yeah,
but
automatic.
And I'm
automatic
trolling with that. I am trolling.
No, I get you.
But the thing, okay, Lucas, and I do respect, because you probably could argue that a wide receiver will be one of the best players. I get all that, but like, come on. You brought up history at the cornerback position. I'll tell you history. This defense, this secondary in pass rush, historically, under Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn have not been able to be a top-level defense. I just want a day one, get one of the best players available at 29 that can play on the defensive side of the ball. A wide receiver, when you have Laporta, St. Brown, Jameson, who we all believe in, by the way, has 3 years left on his deal, 5th-year option. He's a first-round pick. You don't need a wide receiver. And if you do, in the first round, I'm with you on second and third round. You just need someone that can fill that Josh Reynolds role. You have confidence in J-Mo, correct? You have confidence that J-Mo can be wide receiver too? Then why are you going out and grabbing the best possible player? What is he going to do? Be wide receiver 3? Really 4 if you count Laporta?
Oh,
Because Laporta's getting targets. He's got to get his. Jameer, big year from Jameer in the passing game.
Yes. Like,
what are the guy going to get? 200 yards?
The NFL is just getting to be more of an offensive-driven league. The teams that stay at the top have depth with playmakers and stars. You look at the Eagles, you look at the 49ers, you look at the Chiefs. Besides this year, they had guys that were just ready to go. The Lions, if they have that, that's the best type of situation that you can have. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, I get it that the Lions, they improved the defense already by default. By default, they were an offensive team that was in the NFC Championship game with that shit defense that Aaron Glenn had to put out there as far as the secondary. They've improved that tremendously. They've already improved defensive. We talk about, is this a team that's a top 15 unit? Because that's all they need. Yes, you can go. There's really, I'm sorry, intangible-wise, the difference between Adisa Isaac and Darius Robinson is not that much. If you're talking about a pure defensive end, Adisa Isaac's probably a better pure defensive end than Darius Robinson. Darius Robinson has better talent. But there are guys in the second and third round, I don't know, like the Sam Laportas and Brian Branches in that draft that you can find. And Brad Holmes has continued to do that. So that's why I'm saying it's like, go get your home run pick and then let Brad Holmes cook in the second, third, fourth, fifth rounds where he continues to show that he's done it. He's going to be able to find guys.
He's really hit on defense alignment in the second round.
I mean, yeah, that's not what he's done. So if you're talking about a 29th pick, that's essentially a second round pick.
Move up. Go get Jared Verse.
I'm all for that. You're acting like I'm against that.
Well, okay. Lucas, hold on. This is where you lose me a little bit, okay? And you can agree with me here. Okay, I think we can come to some common ground. Cornerback class. It's not bad. I think it's not, I wouldn't say it's deep, but I would say there'll be some guys that go in the second round. Max Melton, TJ Tampa, Renardo Green, another one. Lassiter, another one who I do like Lassiter. There's a couple guys. Yeah. Defensive line, though, to me, there is a drop-off. Like, we agree, we're not big kneeling guys. You like Adisa Isaac, but that's one guy. I mean, Jonah Ellis, I'm good. No thanks. I'm slamming the door right on his face.
Mohamed Kamara, bring him home.
I'll take Mohamed Kamara, but he's not like, I don't know. That's you. That's something you love, and I understand that. The depth for wide receiver, there is 3 rounds, 4 rounds worth. I mean, you got guys that like Luke McCaffrey. I mean, so not saying he's one of the top.
Okay, but that's where I talk about like.
But I'm saying the depth at wide receiver, I'm comfortable. I would be more so like I would be more for passing on one in the first round because of the depth at that position, like compared to other positions, corner and defensive line. That's where I'm at.
I hear your guys' point, but to say, Jeff, like that's where you walk out like OMG no wide receiver. That's where it's just like. You're telling me you'd rather have
I would be like scratching my head
wide receiver here, like that's where I'm like, all right, let's relax here because
I'm in the middle because I'm at the points where I would just say I don't really care. If the Xavier Legette gets on the board at 29, I'm going to sit there and go, okay, we have another weapon. This offense is getting better. So I'm not going to sit here and say, no, I don't want it at all. I, though, am on your side, Jeff, to where, and I guess I'm playing both sides here, but I'm kind of like the devil's advocate. I just do think the defense, you go get a defensive player in the first round just because of how deep the wide receiver class is. That would be my preference, is to go about it that way. Is go get a defensive end. If you can move up, Jared Verse falls into the 20s somehow. I've seen a lot of mock drafts of him going 21, 22. If you can move up a little bit and get him, and then you can get in the second round a wide receiver. And you know what, Klotzy? And you know what I did in my mock draft that Brad Holmes does all the time? He did it last year, in the year before, or he's traded in the first and the second round, both rounds. Like last year, he traded back. The year before, he traded up. He trades up to Jared Verse, and then in the second round, he even trades up and goes. And if Xavier Legette falls 10 spots in the second round, he goes, "We're trading up to go get him now," or Keon Coleman. That would be like perfect if that happened that way.
I want to make it clear. I'm not saying the Lions have to take a wide receiver at 29. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to just say, insert wide receiver, I'm walking out. Like, that's my OMG no. When there's just, like, clear guys that are just going to be busting this draft, in my opinion, or you could have guys that are just wide receiver ones. That's where it's like, what are we doing?
You know what,
What are we
Lucas,
doing?
I'm gathering? You know what I'm gathering from this conversation?
What is that?
So think of it like this: there's a house, right? It's a nice house.
Here we
You
go.
know, got
This
you know,
is
it's a nice
exciting.
house. It's pretty furnished. You know, you got some nice TV, 60-inch TV here. Basement got a 40-inch TV.
Sounds
But
like
there's
that.
some-
I'd get bigger
there's
than
some
40
things-
inches.
But there's there are 60 inches, 80 inches, whatever you want to use. Big TVs, all right, so whatever.
72-inch type of guy.
Let me tell you this though, okay? You're the type of guy where I'm like, Lucas, like this house, it's furnished, it's nice. I mean, you do need, some things around here. I mean, the siding outside, it's a little messed up. The roof needs some work. Lucas is like, fuck it, buy another 80-inch TV. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. We need siding. We need a new roof.
This is
Like,
what happens.
give me an 80-inch
What a
TV.
good what a good
when you can-
example. Great example, Jeff.
When
All
you're
time.
when you're in the shoes of Lukas Klotz, you know people, you know some things. So if I got a budget and I'm like,
What do you know?
okay, well I do need I do need a roof. I do need siding, but I really fucking want that TV. Hey, I know my boy Booner. He puts on a mean fucking roof. And if I use him, and he's gonna give me a discount too because we're boys, and I know
I worked on roofs
Booner
for a summer.
go and do a fucking job and do my roof. Booner's gonna do his job because I'm asking him to, and because I know I've been watching Booner do roofs. I know he can do that roof, so I don't need to go out there and pay top dollar for a roof guy. The siding in my house, BMG. I see what you've been doing with the home renovations.
See,
A little discount friend to friend. Let's hook each other up because I've been watching what you've been doing. I'm going to use you too. And then you know what? Since I already got those two guys, and nobody's going to be looking at them. Everybody's looking at the top of line roof companies. I don't need those because I got my guys. I got the guys I want. So now that I know that that's stable, yeah, I'm gonna go buy that fucking 80.
Jeff, before you say something, I'm just going to throw this out there. Klotzy, I'm a little confused by your theory here. I lost you.
well, he's
because
more.
I got my
who
guys
are your
that I
friends?
know.
What is that in the draft? What is the comparison of your friends?
Booner, you're my Adisa
What players?
Isaac. Gentry is my Max
Okay.
Melton.
Okay.
So you're
Okay.
kind of like rigging it.
What a
Like,
mess.
so I'm forever. You're now a flat screen guy. That's what I'm gonna call you now, flat screen TV guy. But you're basically what you're doing is like, oh yeah, there's a leak in the roof. I'm gonna buy the 80-inch, but we'll put some duct tape on that roof. Like we'll get it fixed. But
I want to
it's
call
like,
Booner. Booner's not a duct tape type of guy.
No, I'm a roof. I'm a roof. No.
Duct tape.
I
Isaac is
worked.
duct tape.
Klotzy, I did roofing for a summer in college. Call me up. I'll get the job done. Don't worry.
all right.
So did we actually say the players that we can live with, or did
No, I don't
No,
think
we
so.
got derailed. We got derailed big
I was
time.
like,
Wide
geez.
receiver conversation really
Yeah,
got us.
I don't know. Yeah, that was
Did we do some mailbag? There's people dropping some. Go
Look
a
at
little.
that guy up
over.
north.
Oh my God, it's 9:58.
Yeah,
Look
let's
at that guy up
do-
north.
go over a
He's-
little and do some mailbag.
He says, I make a living out of fixing F-ups from guys like Lucas's friends. Only different area of construction.
That's why you got to scout. That's why you got to
You got to
scout.
scout a little bit. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I ain't
Oh,
asking
that
Jeff
was,
to
that
do
was
my roof.
great. Jeff, I want to
Nope.
applaud you for your example too, because
That was
I didn't
good.
know where you were going, and you
I
at the
tried
end
to
just hit the
illustrate
ball.
it.
You hit a bomb.
So, Lucas, you're the flat
Lucas-
screen TV guy. All right.
You want to get a flat screen TV? Like, that was great.
When we got 6 of them in the house.
Which you do even better.
I'm
Oh,
Which you
man.
do better. It's an entertainment sport, fellas.
kidding. Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's get to some. No, geez, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't.
know
You know,
where
I'm
that-
not pulling the Jeff and just. Michigan's gonna win. I'm not doing like a deal or anything.
No,
The
don't
thing
do
is
that.
with the
I
goatee.
recommend you
There's
don't
only
do
been in the last 6 years. There's like been 2 times I shaved it. One time, like in college, when I just, all right, what is it gonna look like? And it's just I looked so naked. And I've got a little bit of a double chin too, so it shows that covers it up a little. If I'm being honest, I'm just telling the people. And then the other time I went to go trim it, and I forgot to put the trimmer on, and I was like, oh, I guess it's coming off for now.
It's your identity. Like,
I've
I
had
never
it since
shaved my
I've been in
beard
high
either.
school. Yeah, I've had it since high school. No one's ever said what Adam said. Everyone says, Booner, you look good, buddy. Thank you. So
well, Eduardo will start us off here with the first question. Mailbag: who loves a player more, Sam with Mahomes or Jeff with Caleb? That's Sam with Mahomes definitely.
for sure. Yeah.
I love Caleb. I do. I think
There was
be
a point in
player.
time though where
player.
didn't like the
What?
Bears. You've slow like there was a time earlier in the offseason at the very beginning where you were against the Bears being good, and then all of a sudden there I don't know what happened, what clicked in your head, but you're like Caleb Williams.
Well, no, I've always liked Caleb Williams, but my take on the Bears, I do remember that like early when they first bought the team. Basically, I mean, they paid for all these players. I'm like, I don't know, that's risky. You know, that's very, very risky. But the more I kind of sat down and looked at the roster, I'm like, hold on, Caleb Williams is good, which I believe he is.
I will say one of my bets again. I said it yesterday. It will be for the Bears to not make the playoffs plus 150.
I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but they're
favored right now. They have better.
Are they really?
They're like minus 140, I think, or minus 130 to make the playoffs.
I wouldn't be shocked. I think they win 8-9 games, fall short. So, you know, that's where I'm at. But whatever.
Plus odds.
Yeah, but Sam loves Mahomes. Yeah, that is like die on the hill.
Tantrums over Mahomes.
Like,
with
LeBron.
I win, you lose.
Hours of research behind Mahomes.
You're all bots.
I love flannel, bro. I miss flannel.
Any more mailbag? I like them. These mailbag's good tonight. There's a lot of good stuff in the chat.
Yeah, I think we just had a great convo, and mailbag kind of got lost, which is okay. I mean, we got in the weeds here on the.
So Jeff, we'll carry the conversation over in a little mailbag. If the Lions were to draft AD Mitchell, are you walking out?
Oh yeah, I'm done.
Oh my god! Like,
are you serious?
This is why I had to take a stand.
It's not going to happen though.
This is why I had to take a stand.
It won't happen.
Maybe that's a little aggressive, but I maybe I shouldn't say that was aggressive. I should say I'm done. That's a little aggressive.
Fuck
maybe
Brett Holmes.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would be like, okay, but I don't like it. You know, I'm not a huge fan of it. I will say that.
You love DJ Chark.
My opinion. I do, but I like Brennan Rice too. Think he could be DJ Chark.
I keep
Steve says mailbag. If we stay at 29, DeJean, D-Rob, Kool-Aid, JPJ, Wiggins. I think Holmes moves up or down. I did send a super chat, by the way. Yes, Steve. Thank you for reminding me because sorry I had to deal with the flat screen TV guy. So Steve,
get the fuck out of here.
I'm kidding.
You just hate offensive skill players that aren't tight ends. They're all replaceable in your eyes.
Hey, 1970s, 1980s football. That's what we believe in. All right. That's what we believe in. Steve, Polk, Burton, Rice, Baker, McCaffrey, in parentheses, unless Holmes gets the top 3 wide receiver. In my opinion, if he moves up, it's for a top DN or CB. We can wait on wide receiver. Steve, you know what? Hold on. Steve?
Lucas likes Burton. He loves
Steve, you get the air horn. That's a bar. Love what Steve said.
Real quick with Jalen Polk. Real quick, guys.
Grandma baby. That shit was so.
Hey, real quick. Lock in real quick, boys. Klotzy, lock in real quick. All right, I'll wait.
Oh my god. Not the owl. Why, Boone? What's up?
All right, Jalen Polk, boys. Adam put it in the chat earlier today. There was a comparison, and I saw it on Twitter today as well. He was being compared to Puka Nacua type player, and they said that, and I saw there's been a lot of talks around NFL front offices that said they don't think he's going to get out of the second round, and then we saw Peter Schrager take him at 32. So
I don't know if I love that player comp, but there's no way he gets out the second round. I'll agree with you. Puka's like can be a deep threat, but he's way more of like.
It was more so the reliability, the hands. If I remember the report right, I think it said like his hands, like catching everything, the way he like is reliable out in the field. Like it was more so of that instead of kind of the deep threat. If I read the report, I'll look for it and I'll send it to you guys later. We can bring it up tomorrow.
You could tell Coach has been following the boys for a while. Kool-Aid, Caleb Williams, and LBJ. That's it. Like, why is that? Why is that? Why does Coach know me so well? Damn it. I don't have to answer this, do I? I don't have to.
Steph or KD?
Wait. One correction. You got to replace Kool-Aid with Cade Cunningham.
It's fair.
Steph or KD? Oh, that's the one thing we missed today. I was so excited to talk about the Pistons and go at Troy Weaver. That man should never have a GM job.
We'll do it tomorrow. We can do it tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait. Let's do it tomorrow.
Coach, Coach, I'd marry all of them. Metaphorically, like theoretically, not literally, but you get what I'm saying. Because they're all going to be great. LeBron, I have to speak for. That's the GOAT.
Yeah.
And then Caleb Williams, I think he'll be great, and Kool-Aid will be great in his own right. As a Detroit Lion, by the way. That's what I believe.
You notice how when it's time to talk about the Red Wings doing bad, I
loves
get
it.
called to the stand.
Yes.
But the Pistons, we got to push it till tomorrow, next week.
What's
next year
crazy?
when they win 13
What's
games
crazy,
again.
Gentry, and I text. What's crazy is there's people out in this world right now that are walking the same earth as us, who are standing on the same dirt and the same ground as all of us right now, that are still defending Troy Weaver after having 20 wins, 17 wins, 14 wins, and they were standing and breathing like Gentry. They're breathing the same air as us. Like they're breathing in the same exact air as us.
Look at that. Look at that
Troy
freak.
Weaver. Defending Troy Weaver, breathing the same air as us. I love ELE. I love everyone. Troy Weaver, don't know if I love you.
Gotta respect it.
Hey, it is what it is. We'll talk about Troy Weaver tomorrow. You know what, Mike? I'll be on the stand tomorrow. I'm gonna
have a lot of notes for you, Jeff.
Accountability.
I'm coming with stats.
If you promise to be nice, Mike, you
I
better
will.
be nice.
I'm always nice. I'm real when I talk about that dog shit team.
Oh no,
All right, we'll wrap it up.
All right, we're getting out of here, man. All right, see you guys. Have a
Love
great
you guys.
night. Stay blessed. We'll catch you tomorrow. Appreciate every
tomorrow.
single one of you, man, for tuning in every single night. Steve, we appreciate the donation. You were speaking facts as always. All right, Coach Walk, we love you. See you guys.
Peace.
Deuces.